Is everybody ready?
Yes, we are.
Right. Mr. Daniels, ready to proceed? Great. Okay. Okay, welcome to the City of Daytona Beach Nuisance Abatement Board meeting for January 8th of 2025. We're here on the matter of 600 Ridgewood Avenue, business known as Family Food Store, Inc., doing business as Family Food. Also, Angela and Brittany, Inc., 600 North Ridgewood. Property owner being Gatlin Brothers of Daytona Beach, LLC. So before we proceed, do we have anybody on behalf of the respondents? Okay, and just for the record, announce yourself, Mr. Daniels.
Kelvin Daniels for the Gatlin Brothers.
The Gatlin Brothers, okay, all right. So that's the property owner.
Yes.
And who's the proprietor or the tenant?
Raymond Saeed.
Saeed, okay. Is he present today?
Yeah, he's there.
Okay. Mr. Saeed?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So you're representing Gatlin Brothers, Mr. Saeed, we
I
represent
represent them. So
all together?
all the
Gatlin Brothers and Mr. Saeed?
Yes.
Okay, great, sounds good, okay.
Brittany Farms, all of those.
Okay, thank you, thank you. All right. Sergeant Blowers, are you prepared to proceed? I am. Okay. And Mr. Daniels, are you prepared to proceed?
Yes.
Okay. Sergeant Blowers, why don't you go forward? Call roll, okay. I don't have an agenda before me, so I don't, I'm faking it right now, but, okay. Is there an agenda somewhere? I was
Changed a couple
going from
dates, but I
memory, it
thought
was
it was
just
in the
stale.
book.
Okay, let's call the roll. Thank you.
Ann Ruby? Charles Jackson? Carl Fields? Kara Keefe? Here. Kevin Murphy?
Here.
And Mr. Rice?
Here.
We
What
have
else is normally on the agenda?
Mr. Chair, I would
Yes.
ask one or two things. If obviously the choice of Mr. Chair and the board, but either if you want, maybe we can quickly get an agenda prepared for you and maybe delay shortly, or if the board would just officially waive the necessity for an agenda for this proceeding, just so that there's no future question or concern about the procedural move of
Oh. Okay.
I don't know if Mr. Simpson agrees, so I have some thoughts.
No, that's fine.
I don't know if you'd rather delay or just go ahead and waive the need for a formal written agenda.
Well, yeah, of course, we only have one item on the agenda, which is Jay's Food Store. I just didn't have the items there before me, so I was just going from memory, so thank you. Anything else normally on the agenda that we need? I don't think we need a piece of paper, as long as we do what's normally required of an agenda.
Okay, just want to make sure it's a consensus of the board, so.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. Sounds good. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, move a second, and I didn't ask for here a vote.
Oh,
Okay.
Move that we waive having an agenda.
second.
All right, moved and second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you.
Opposed? All right. Thank you, Mr. Jackson. All right.
We have to excuse Mr. Jackson.
Not me, Mr. Jackson, but Mr. Jackson from the board.
Have to do
The
what to him?
absence.
Okay. Do what?
We do a motion to excuse Mr. Jackson from the hearing.
First I've ever done that, but happy to do that.
They do it at the
So I'd move to excuse Mr. Jackson from the board?
Okay.
Second.
All those in favor of excusing Mr. Jackson from the hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right.
Okay. Whoever's going to testify, stand up and raise your right hand.
Probably should have them identify themselves. Whoever's going to testify, come forward and identify yourself.
Well, the city staff, anybody who's the city staff, I'll swear them in first, all together. And then as they come up to the podium, I can swear everybody individually as the citizens.
Fair enough.
All right, so city staff, raise your right hand. Do you swear? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Okay.
Good. All right. Anybody else going to testify who's not on the city staff?
Okay. You'd have to come to the podium and announce. I could swear them in when they come up to
I'd
testify.
rather bring everyone up here, but okay. Everyone come forward, identify yourselves, and we'll have you we'll swear you in. Come on forward, please. Come on
State
forward.
your name.
Keep coming, sir. You got people behind you.
Go ahead and state your name.
My name is Raymond Saeed.
Okay, next person.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear from the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Next.
My name is Roy Gerald, and I work at J Store,
Okay.
Gerald, spell your last name.
Jarrell.
And you're an employee.
Yes, sir. Ma'am.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, stay right there for a sec. Go ahead, give me your name.
Julia Pickett,
Julia, Julia,
IA,
Pickett,
PICKETT.
And your affiliation?
Pardon me.
You're an employee?
I work for security at JSOR.
Security. Okay. Go ahead and stay right here, though.
Fabian McKnight, SC Protection and Security, and I'm the owner.
Fabian, what's your last name?
McKnight,
McKnight, thank you.
yes sir.
You're the owner of
SC Protection and Security.
Fiction. Okay, all three of you raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Board.
Good
Chairman,
afternoon.
Attorney Jackson, Attorney Daniels. My name is Sergeant Timothy Blowers. I work with Daytona Beach Police Department. For this hearing, I was the nuisance abatement officer that sent the affidavit forward. We're here again. Reference nuisance abatement 2024 NAB-41. It's going to be a city of Daytona Beach versus Jay's Food Store. We're going to recap just because some of the members were not here, so they have just, it's going to be a quick recap of the initial case that got us here. This is Jay's Food Store. This is a front picture of it. Next. Another picture, Jay's Food Store. Next. Jay's Food Store from the south. Next. The backside of Jay's Food Store. Next. Front door, Jay's Food Store. Next. The window looking out into the parking lot of Jay's Food Store. This was the original view. Next. The parking lot. Next. Okay, so Jay's Food Store, aka Family Food Inc. Corp., has over a 20-year history of being a nuisance property in the city of Daytona Beach. We were here in 2000. We brought the Jay's Food Store before the board in 2002, reference NAB 21. We brought them before the board in 2017, NAB 39. And then beginning of this year, we brought them before this board for 2024 NAB 41. This property has a history of illegal activities, which include drug sales, prostitution, violent crimes, stolen vehicles, aggravated batteries, simple batteries, frauds, tobacco sale violations, alcohol sale violations, gambling, and others. Next. January 24th this is how we started. In 2023, there was a cocaine sale. Next. And that was where the location of the sale occurred. Next. February 2nd, 2023, cocaine was made within 600 North Ridgewood. Next. This was the location of where the sale occurred. Next. February 14th, 2023, sale of cocaine at Jay's Food Store. Next. That was the location in the parking lot.
So these are new violations you're
Those
talking-
are this is what got us here in 2000 for the first
For the
part of
first
this.
order. Okay,
Yeah, this is
fair
just
enough.
a brief history, just kind of touch base on
Thank
to
you.
refresh people's memory. Next, February 14th, 2023, there was sale of cocaine made on Jay's Food Store. Next, happened there in the parking lot. Next, March 9th, 2023, sale of cocaine in the next. This one occurred right there in the parking lot by the front door.
And just for that's right from the front door, correct?
Yes, sir. Next, March 9th, 2023, sale of cocaine was made. Next, it occurred right there outside front door. Next, April 20th, 2023, sale of cocaine on the property. Next, right there, just outside the front door by the curb there. Next, April 27th, 2023, cocaine sale. Next, right there on the, it's almost at the corner of the building. Next, May 10th, 2023, sale of cocaine. Next, you can see right there almost by the front door, front entrance of the window edge. That's where that one occurred. Next, May 11th, 2023, sale of cocaine made. Next, and that was far northern, basically corner of the parking lot. Next, December 27th, 2023, joint operation was conducted between Daytona Beach Police Department and Florida Division of Alcohol, Beverage, and Tobacco. 2 single cigarettes were purchased. Other violation, including selling liquor without a license, occurred there. Next. Violations selling single cigarettes, selling of liquor, tequila without a liquor license, concerns of selling expired food items, selling items commonly used for illicit drugs, glass pipes, clear mini bags. Next. This is just a show of what's in the neighborhood in that there. There's a Baptist church within 768 feet. Next. This is a children's daycare within 756 feet of the property. Next. This is another daycare. This one is 1,544 feet. So just showing that there's a couple daycares right there in the area. Next. Prior order that was given was prohibited from maintaining nuisance property, prohibited from allowing the conduct of operation, maintenance, and business of activities on property conducive to this nuisance. Next.
That was at the February 2024 order.
This was the
When you say prior order, the one that.
this was from the previous one. This is just what the order was from original
You said
the
previous,
last hearing.
You're at the 2024 order,
It would have been the
2017 order.
2017 order. Next. Oh, maybe that is this one. I apologize. That's the continuing this order. Because it says provide a secure yard when they're open, upgrade cameras to allow the real-time access. That's the current order right now. I apologize.
So clarification.
I thought so.
This is the February.
Yes,
Order that you referenced.
Yes.
February 2024.
Everything that we've talked about was covered by the order signed by Bryce in 2024.
Yes.
Okay.
Next. Keep the windows unobstructed. Exterior maintain septic standards, maintain registration compliance, business trespass initiative. Next. During those times, no one's reached out to us. We tried to left business cards. They never contacted us during before when we came to this. Next.
During what time? What are you saying?
That would have been that was just
leading up
before-
to the order.
leading up to the order.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're on, that was the basic history of how we got here. So what I'm going to show to you today is how they are continuing to allow the nuisance to be there. The orders that you have given by maintaining the security officer and stuff like that, that they're not having a reputable company be there.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
You know, this is just ignorance on my part. When was that substation opened right across the street from them?
2023. That is not a manned substation. That's like full time, like walk up to for. It's just officers use the office and crime suppression team uses it.
Okay, so it's not like an actively manned post?
Right. You can't just walk up there and file a complaint with the police. We use the building. It's used by our teams, but it's not like the main police station where you can go file a report and stuff like that. So on new violations, paragraph 1, respondents jointly and severely are hereby prohibited from maintaining nuisance on the property. Paragraph 2, respondents jointly severely prohibited the conduct. So on February 26, 2024,
I think we have our board member here. Says Mr. Jackson?
Correct.
Okay,
Just so the record reflects that Mr. Jackson has appeared
yeah,
and avoided his excuse
yes.
absence.
I'm going to have Sergeant Connolly come up here and talk about her observations on February 26, 2024.
Number of questions I'm gonna ask is restate the, requirement, and then you can tell how they, failed to meet the, order.
Can I ask a couple
What was provided in the order as far as.
There's
what-
procedurally
what's
means?
been violated.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
What, are we following the affidavit then, or what, just,
We are not.
okay, okay. Counselor, you had a question?
Well, I was just going to try to narrow the focus down a little bit. Looking at the February 2024 order that was issued, paragraph 1 says, the respondents are prohibited from maintaining a nuisance. Paragraph 2, prohibited from allowing conduct, operation, or maintenance of business activity which is conducive to such nuisance. And then paragraph 3, where it kind of gets more substantive, it says in furtherance of 1 and 2 above, the board orders the following. A, respondents shall provide a security guard from a reputable security company during all open business hours commencing no later than February 12th, 2024. You can show evidence later. I was just going to ask a question. Is it staff's opinion that they are in compliance with that provision? Yes or no?
They are not in
Okay.
compliance with that.
So you'll be presenting evidence as to why.
Yes.
Paragraph B, respondents are prohibited from selling paraphernalia commonly used for narcotics such as Ziploc baggies smaller than snack size, rose or pin-shaped glasses, or metal objects commonly used for smoking crack cocaine, weighing scales, or chorboy, copper scrubbers commencing no later than February 12th. Did they comply with that requirement?
They did remove that.
So B3B is in compliance.
Yes.
3C, respondents shall keep the store windows unobstructed to allow clear view and inside and outside of the store commencing no later than February 12th. In compliance or not in compliance?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that one more time?
This is the one where they won't obstruct the windows.
Not compliance.
Non-compliant, all right? 3D, respondents shall maintain the exterior lighting at crime prevention through environmental design standards to be completed within a reasonable time as determined by the city. Has that been complied with?
Yes.
Okay. 3E, respondents shall maintain registration and compliance with the Daytona Beach Police Department's Business Trespass Initiative Program and Trespass Arrest Site Program. Has that been complied with?
Yes.
Okay. 3F, respondents shall upgrade the security cameras to allow continuous feeds without interruption, as well as access to the Volusia County VC3 Crime Center to be completed within reasonable time. Has that been complied with?
Yes.
Okay. So based on items, paragraph 3, we have 3A dealing with reputable security guards,
And C.
and 3C are the issues that we have before us.
And 1 and 2.
Well,
1 or 2 the general things.
general things, but I'm just talking about in paragraph 3, which was in furtherance. So we're in terms of non-compliance with the previous order, 3A And 3C are the three things that are not?
No, 1, 2, 3,
Yeah,
3C and
3A.
3A and 3C, sorry.
3A and 3C are non-compliant? Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, as well as Attorney Simpson, I expect as well some of the testimony would lead to an argument concerning 3B as to whether or not, at least from that testimony, whether it's conducive to the,
Okay, so the focus is 3A, B, and C
yes.
in terms of the conduct you've observed, incorporated in the general statements in 1 and 2. Paragraph 4, they were supposed to be closed for 3 days, February 6th, 7th, and 8th of 2024. Did they close?
They were in compliance.
Okay. Paragraph 5, they're supposed to pay $5,000 to the city to reimburse for investigative costs. Has that been done?
No.
That has not
They're
been
not
paid.
compliance.
Non-compliance there. Okay. I just wanted to narrow down what we were looking at just for the board's assistance here. Okay.
All right. You're calling your first witness,
Sergeant Shauna Conley. Yes, sir.
Sean?
Shauna.
Shauna
Yes, sir.
Conley, okay. And you've been sworn?
Yes, sir.
Okay, proceed.
On February 26, 2024, I went to the business to conduct a follow-up after the sanctions were issued. While on scene, I noticed by the cash register through a clear plexiglass window, there were several items to be sold that contained Delta 8 THC as well as Kratom. Both products have to be sold, have to have some sort of sign saying 18 years of age or cigarettes for 21 plus age. The time I was there was no signage or anything indicating that a person had to be of age to make those purchases, which is a violation of their tobacco license.
But they're not illegal to sell.
No,
just
they're
illegal
not.
to sell under 21.
Correct. They're illegal to sell under 21, and certain Delta THC products are illegal to sell under 18 years of age.
Anything further from the witness from the city standpoint? Well, because I'm gonna, at some point, let Mr. Daniels ask some questions. So do we need to let her finish, or does she have a whole litany of things to testify to?
So next slide. These are photographs of the items that were clearly seen by the register. I took those photographs and submitted them into evidence. They are staged where there was 2 different registers you could be at. They're either on the left or right-hand side of both registers. And anywhere within that visual of those particular products, there is no sign indicating you have to be of age to purchase those items. Next slide. I conducted another follow-up investigation the following day, which would be February 27th of 2024. Those same items had actually been shifted and moved after I took the photographs. However, they were still within eyesight, still available to sale. There were still no signs indicating of the age range that you had to be able to purchase those items. Next slide. And those are the photographs of those items, again, still within visual, clear, stated near the cash register. And again, there was no signs indicating the requirements. Next slide. And that's me. Oh, sorry. Apologies. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Daniels, you may inquire.
First of all, I'd like to make an opening. They made an opening, I think.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, good afternoon, board. I'm Attorney Daniels, representing the J-Store. Last time I was here, I stipulated with Mr. Jackson and you all that there was a nuisance at the J-Store. We agreed with the findings that were presented by Mr. Blower and by the Daytona Beach police officers. Now, today I'm here to say that this is incorrect. Today is not a nuisance. Today is something different. And I'm going to show through testimony that this would not support the J-Store being rendered another year under the Nuisance and Abatement Board. When I came to last year, as I said, the certain criteria that municipal code and the Florida statute supported said that you needed to be a nuisance, and I'm sure you're all aware of this, that you had to have any premises with within 6 months, 2 drug sales, in a 6-month period, prostitution, and the two occasions again. C says on the occasion the site of unlawful possession of controlled substances, felony gain purposes, 2 occasions of dealing in stolen property, 2 or more occasions of, 2 or more occasions with a 6-month period, site violation, drug and cosmetic act, 2 occasions relating to murder, relating to attempted murder, felony murder, relating to aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, relating to aggravated assault with a deadly weapon without intent to kill, a pain management clinic, which is what we're not dealing with today, burglary, theft, robbery by sudden snatching, and unlawful distribution of controlled substances, which you all are well aware. That's what the Nuisance Abatement Board handles. You all got a package that I did not receive. However, I read this affidavit report, and as you all were well aware, the evidence today will show that none of these things occurred. They did not state those, and I didn't get the papers y'all have, but from the affidavit I received, nobody said there was drug sales like last time. We didn't sell loose cigarettes. There was no stem sold. There was no alcohol sold. And the evidence I'm going to show was that the people who worked at the J store and those witnesses were being targeted by Chief Young in the Daytona Beach Police Department under the leadership of Mr. Blower, and they were aggressive with their security company, with the employees. I have testimony for that. I don't need it now, I can't use it. It's temporary to a federal harassment type situation here, and we'll present evidence to bolster this claim. Would also show that they asked people to do controlled buys. Mr. Harrell will speak to that. And you will have Mr. Fabian McKnight and his group come up and saw how he was confronted by certain officers and certain things. We also have security officers talk about the Federal Department of Agriculture, who actually represents Mr. Blower and not Mr. Blower, but Mr. McKnight and his group. He'll come and testify as well. And in the end, you will all see that none of the alleged activities that would make this another year of a nuisance occurred at the J store. This is more of what we saw in here, a bunch of trespasses and some other issues that could have been handled. So hopefully I'll show you all that through the testimony and through my questioning of their officers. Now, I do have a question, Mr. Rice, for the young lady, Ms. Conley.
Yes, sir.
When you saw that there was no signs up there, did you help Mr. Saeed by saying, hey, you need to have a sign that says you need to be 21 and older?
He was not there that evening.
Did you tell anybody that?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. I read something, Mr. Rice and board members, that said, I read the nuisance board in my research. I read where the Abatement Board of Orlando has a nice written up thing, right? And it says that the primary purpose of the Criminal Nuisance Abatement Board is to encourage properties to take action to end activities occurring on the property that creates a criminal nuisance. And in this case, you will hear from the mouths of the officers that nobody said, hey, why don't you get a sign? Instead, you could have called the Department of Agriculture, who governs that too. So this will be what I show you all today, okay? That's all I have for you. Thank you.
Any redirect from,
Mr. Chair, when you made those observations, were you trying to determine whether there were drug sales or meeting the nuisance then, or were you seeing if they were in compliance with the requirements that were issued by the board?
I was checking to see if they were in compliance with the issuance by the board.
And you found some concerns, and also what you testified to today?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Ms. Rice, Max, Mr. Simpson, you read it out. Was that part of the board things you read? It said don't sell stems, right? It didn't say that he couldn't sell those type of products. You just read that, correct?
It's right. I don't think we're at the point of argument. We can if we want to argue now, but I think right now we're
right, I think it's his point was, yes, our order didn't say that he had to have a sign indicating the age required to buy Kratom and THC Delta, whatever the hell it is, people buy and sell on the streets. I think that's what his point was.
Right, but I would say our order did require that we remove these things that would be conducive to
But you sort of opened the door for him on that. I mean, you know,
And I, again, that would be. what
okay.
we-
It's argument. Okay. Fair enough. It'd be more in the nature of argument. Sure. No, not you. I'm just saying
I understand.
both of you are arguing. I get that.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, okay, okay, all right. All right, any other questions regarding the substance of the witness's testimony from Mr. Blowers, Mr. Jackson, Mr. Daniels? Nothing further, gentlemen?
Nothing.
Okay,
Thank you,
you
sir.
may be excused.
Can you bring up the PowerPoint again? Okay. On 3/28, the Jay's Food Security requested officers to respond to reference a male causing a disturbance. So the security was doing their job that day. Upon arrival, the employee declined to have the male trespassed. So here is the store employees allowing nuisances to occur, which keeps calling the police back over and over again. When they had a chance to have this person trespass, so they couldn't come back, they decided, no, we're going to keep letting this guy come back and causing issues. On 4/24, Officer Huckabee observed a subject on the property who had been previously trespassed on the property. The subject was arrested for trespass and had narcotics on him. And if Officer Huckabee could come up here. This was the arresting officer, and he will be able to talk to you about this.
Good morning. My name is Officer Justin Huckabee.
And let me just, and you've been sworn?
I have, yes, sir.
Okay, you may proceed.
On this date, I observed in the parking lot, it was a known drug user and prostitute that has been repeatedly trespassed from this property that was walking in the front of in the parking lot near the front entrance of the business. During that encounter, an inventory of the arrest of the trespass after warning, I conducted an inventory of her property to include her jacket that she was wearing, which had methamphetamines and crack cocaine and paraphernalia, which was a stem or a glass pipe commonly used for crack cocaine.
Oh, was she in the parking lot or inside
She
the
was in the
property?
parking lot near the front entrance.
What's near?
Directly in front of the front door.
Like on that little sidewalk that would go?
No, in the
store?
parking spots that face the front of the business, the east side of the building.
So like where the line would start, she's in
Do you have a
between where like
picture?
a car would
Do you have a
park.
picture that whoever's controlling the previous pictures?
I know, I guess I was just asking, it's like she just like traipsing through the parking lot?
She was walking into the building, through the parking lot. She was coming from the north end, walking in a southwestern direction. So she'd be coming through the top right corner, the northeast corner, walking towards the business, towards inside the business. And where those cars are parked is where she was walking at an angle towards the door.
So I was curious, I read everything that was provided to me in advance. So on these trespass warnings that the city issues, are they open-ended forever, or are they for
Yes,
like
sir.
for a year?
They're forever,
Forever, okay, all right, thank you.
until they're rescinded.
And again,
Unless they're rescinded.
the drugs and drug paraphernalia that you found, that was in her purse,
It was in her jacket.
her
pockets.
jacket? yeah.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Anything further? I'll let Mr. Daniels ask him questions.
When you were there, did you see security in the parking lot?
No, I did not see security in the parking lot.
Mr. Daniels, do you have any questions?
Yeah. Also, you stated that she was going to the store. Did she make it to the door?
She did not make it to the door. She was walking towards the door.
And you said she was well known to be trespassed, correct?
Yes,
How did you know that?
because I have had many encounters with her, and she has been trespassed multiple times from that store, from J
that
Food store. Yes.
Okay. And would the security guard know you trespassed her before?
They have copies of the slips.
Okay. And I'm glad you mentioned that. We'll bring that to your attention. So every time this comes up, I'll bring it up. You see that? received a trespass list, correct?
Yes, sir.
This is how many that the J store possibly may have, correct?
Okay.
Doesn't show anybody pictures on these. Let me give you one of them, so I'll show you. Does it show a picture on anything?
No.
So, a reasonable person in a moment would know, would they be fair to say they would know who's been trespassed based on this document?
To know every single person, no.
Right, okay. And this is how many the J store possibly has right now, right?
I would, if that's from their store, then yes.
So did she sell drugs at that, before you arrested her, was she selling drugs?
At that time, no.
Was she smoking drugs?
No.
Okay, and you didn't see her go in the store and buy the drug?
No, I saw her on the property in the parking lot.
All right, I have nothing else. Thank you.
Okay. Any redirect?
Yes, he possessed it on the property.
Yes, sir.
And your report indicates he was trespassed back in November of 22? Well,
I don't have
I may be looking
Yes.
at the wrong report. Let me ask you this a different way. When she was trespassed, you mentioned numerous times. Was it you coming out and just finding, or was you being contacted at some point or another?
I observed her and knew that she was already trespassed because of how many encounters we've had with her.
Okay,
And
when
how
she was
common that the encounters with her specifically are. Is how I recognized immediately before looking it up that she was already trespassed.
Was any particular reason, to your knowledge, of why she was trespassed?
Because of the number of encounters I've had with her
I
at
mean,
that specific location.
I mean, in the past, such as could have been for some other law violation or anything else?
I don't recall offhand why the initial trespass was provided.
Oh, and you said you had did you have any encounter? Well, you didn't even see a security guard, right?
No, I did not see one.
Okay, so whether the security guard knew or didn't know, you wouldn't know whether he knew or not because you didn't see him there
Correct.
to know.
Correct.
Can I ask another question, Attorney Jackson? When they write up a trespass, does that mean the store only, inside the store, or does that mean the whole parking lot also? When they're trespassed off that,
The entire
so
property.
if she walks through the parking lot, she's in violation?
Correct.
I'm just curious how many of those stack of trespass violations are for the same person. That would be an interesting thing to know. Not necessarily relevant, but
I wouldn't know
Yeah.
and that's that specifically, but I will say that I have seen multiple different locations on the city where there's 4 to 6 or 7 repeats of the same person.
okay. Thank you.
It is unusual, I'm sorry, Mayor. Yeah, unusual for someone a business perhaps, to maybe even have it electronically so that they can have a list that they can rely on and not rely solely on slips.
Right, that would make it easier, yes.
Don't you? We had someone trespass in my business, and they actually took a photograph of the individual and
The business is able to do that on their own. We don't provide a photo, but we do have some businesses that their security takes a photo.
I thought the
and
police
attaches
officer
it
gave
to
us like a nice little notice with a photograph of the person on it and everything. No?
maybe.
He printed it out on his computer there at the, anyways.
I have that person on it to this individual.
Yes. She hangs out in that area consistently.
I have a question.
Is it a nice area?
Define nice.
The store are the ones who, or the owner, are the ones who initiate the trespassing. Is that correct? They have
Usually
to.
a representative of the business.
Mhm.
Correct.
And so once they go through those steps to say, hey, I want this person trespassed, it's not on the police department to provide them with a system to know who they've requested to be trespassed on their property.
Correct.
Okay, so they are responsible for making sure
Some
that their
places may.
employees are aware of who we've said have been trespassed. It's not, the onus is not on the police department.
There are some businesses that keep them in alphabetical order in a folder, which makes it easier. Because a lot of officers do have a hard time digging through a random pile of papers, yellow papers, and they it makes it easier for the officers to prevent repeats. I know I have personally seen in some where an individual at one location, I don't know which location, was trespassing, within an hour later was warned again by another officer because that second officer didn't know that it was just done.
But if you have not provided a picture of the individual, that does not remove the responsibility from the establishment or the owner to know who they've trespassed and how they're going to train their staff to recognize who's been trespassed so that they know the next time that person is on property to actually call you for the trespass and warrant to be executed. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Is it the property owner's right to enforce his trespass warning, or is it then the is the police department's right to enforce the trespass warning, or can the property owner decide whether they want to enforce it? I don't know the answer to that question. Does the property owner?
Part of the original order is they have to be on our trespass arrest initiative program, which means they have signs giving us the authority to trespass people for them. But most of them will come at the request of their employees.
Okay. I was just curious if a property owner trespasses somebody and then a year later they decide they'll let the person on their property, is that a law enforcement issue, or is that a property owner issue?
Is that a question for me?
I don't know. I'm asking them. Yeah, I don't know the answer to the question. I really don't. But okay. So, but it's a trespass arrest site. So
that's correct. But I would say this: that someone trespassed, presumably for, and I would think the officers would say for some purpose that may have to do with the whole reason why we established that provision in the first place, which is contributing or conducive to some nuisance activity on the property.
Right.
Whether it's theft or fights or drugs.
Okay. Mr. Daniels, any follow up with the witness? Given the other questions.
Yeah, because Mr. Jackson brings up a very good point, and Mr. Tony Jackson does too. On this report y'all got, 2022 is one of the trespassing documents that he said that person was trespassed 3 years ago now. This program, I don't know if it's movement is the right word, because it was before the stale, but it was actually before they ever entered into the trespass initiative. So we don't know when these people were trespassed. The trespass initiative was given by this board last year. So all of the people that are mentioned who've been trespassed may have been trespassed before y'all ever gave this edict, which would actually make it a stale point right now. So when the 2022 one comes up, it was before the initiative was given out, before this board issued that. So if it's somebody trespassed 2024 to this point, the business probably should know or try to have trained somebody. But if it's people way back, then that's not for them to put that on the responsibility of the store when it happened before y'all ever issued this order. So we're looking at what y'all actually control. So I want y'all to just keep that in mind with these
For
dates.
the record, they have been on the trespass initiative for a while because in previous nuisance abatement things we've asked for, it's not like we just requested that we basically copied some of the requirements from the previous in 2017's order of making sure that those requirements were met and that they're still on the site. So they have been on a trespass arrest initiative for a while. It's not like they had to go out and buy new signs and sign everything. They were already on the program to begin with.
I have a question.
Well, he got legal counsel, so maybe you could huddle with him if you want to, but I think we've kicked this dead horse quite a bit about the trespassing. I think we all understand it. So we'll move on to another topic.
Next slide. Actually, go back one. On 6/21/24, officers observed on the property who had been previously arrested for trespassing, and that was in 2023. And Officer Huckabee was the officer who observed the person on the property and trespassed.
And which one was this?
19.
Should I come in, Mr.
You are
Rice?
not.
1/28,
Sanford.
2023, that's before whatever we came, that's before the board ever started this work. I digress.
Yeah, where we at here?
Lost it.
So he was trespassed. 123, so he's saying.
Hanson.
Take the whole book.
So, what's the issue?
No, I was just reminding myself what case
Okay,
this
oh, no
was.
problem.
I wasn't
Refreshing
aware of
recollection.
which one that
Okay.
was.
Sure.
So this was a similar case. A gentleman in a wheelchair named Dana Hanson.
And I apologize. What was the date again?
The date was 6/21/2024.
This is the wheelchair guy. Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
Dana Hanson is, just like the previous one, is another person that stays right there at that intersection at North Street in Ridgewood.
Mr. Hanson's the gentleman in the wheelchair?
Yes.
Okay.
He was also observed on the property, trespass after warning, and just like the previous one, had multiple trespass warnings from the past, is consistently going back in there. During many encounters he's seen coming out of the store, buying food, inside the store and in the parking lot.
Do you know if he's been arrested for any crimes on that property?
Not that I can recall off the top of my head.
Open containers or?
He has, yes. He has had arrests on the property with open containers. It is the store where he consistently buys his alcohol from. He does have an alcohol problem.
Where'd you buy the alcohol?
He stays right there in the 300 block of North Street and Ridgewood.
Okay.
Which is the intersection that J Food store is on.
Right.
And J Foods is where he usually buys his alcohol.
So I noticed like almost all of these subjects in the reports have an address of 500 Bill France Boulevard.
Yes. So if they don't have a home to actually put on for a police report, then that is the post office, the general delivery address. So if they're homeless, then they would have.
So almost every one of these people is homeless. I looked at the reports, almost all of them have 500 Bill France. I had to look it up. I didn't know what 500 Bill France was, so I looked it up.
Yeah, it's the main post office of Bill France.
Okay. So is it reasonable to assume then that every individual who's listed at 500 Bill France Boulevard is homeless, or more than likely homeless?
Or does not provide an address.
Okay.
Have one.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thanks. All right. Anybody have any questions of Officer Huckabee regarding the gentleman in the wheelchair who was taking a hit off a pipe or something? Was it? Or you just found a pipe on him? He was smoking it. Yeah.
He's talking about the November incident. Are you on a different date?
I'm on the June 21st.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm on September 20. Okay. Is the wheelchair guy in here twice?
No, he was just the trespass after warning.
All right, maybe you got more than one wheelchair guy then. Okay.
There's a Daniel would be the other one. This is Dana Hanson.
Okay. That was,
Daniel Miller would be the other one.
okay, all right.
They're actually friends.
If I can ask this, does the report indicate when he was trespassed initially?
Yes, he was trespassed by Officer Ernst on January 28th, 2023.
Okay. All right. Mr. Daniels, do you have any questions regarding
No, I'm just saying, he just made the comment, I don't know if you heard me, but you said January, right? And we came in front of the board in February. So just
Right.
make a note again, this was before the trespass initiative.
Before you were on the trespass
Initiative
site.
So these are people that we're bringing up. And I'm sorry, I don't have the wheelchair information, so if y'all have any other special information, I didn't get it. So if you
Okay.
got any tidbits that I'd like to know too, I'll just add the original report.
Okay, okay.
Meaning for making a comment, I would say just recognize that likewise, that the necessity to abate the nuisance was well before your order ever came into place. There was a nuisance that ultimately you determined did exist and abatement needed to be done. And so whether if they were trespassing people off the property and now allowing those same people back on, that's the concern of the,
Okay,
as relates to the order that exists.
okay.
When they came before us in 2002, did we put a trespass provision in that order?
I'd have to go to my records. I
Because I
don't,
was just wondering if you did, if we had done it originally, does that just parlay and, or is it just
we only have
for the
one-
2-year period that's under the jurisdiction?
just 1 year period.
1 year period.
Yeah. But I think we established Mr. Saeed didn't own it back in 2002. Is that correct?
He did, yeah, he didn't own it. The trespass initiative is for a time period. I can't tell you the exact.
You have to
and they
renew
have
it
to
each.
renew.
I'm
So
on
he's
it,
been
you gotta
on it.
renew
And
it.
he's renewed.
Each year.
So
I would say that trespass was through the property, someone coming to the property. There's case law that supports that unless there's some expiration that's been expressed within the trespass warning itself, that the trespass is indefinite. Obviously, there's a point when it would be unreasonable, whether that's 5 years or 2 years,
Gotcha.
or, how do you define reasonableness would be up to you guys.
Okay.
But a trespass warning does not expire on its own.
Okay.
Okay, that's true too. The prior nuisance orders are recorded orders, so they also would be informative to
It gives notice to the previous, to the next owner.
To the sub, yeah,
to the subsequent owner.
Responsibility.
right, right. Okay,
move on to the next
Moving-
case.
yes, please.
9513 is the last four of the case number. On 627, Officer Huckabee was the officer.
So in this one, this is going back to the same female that we spoke of the first time, different case. And again, she was on the property after warning. In this case, the previous trespass warning that was used was on 4/22/24. During this, directly in front of the store in the parking lot, I tried to make contact with her and arrest her for the trespass warning again. And she resisted, at which time the inventory after arrest of her property revealed that her person, she had the paraphernalia glass pipe, which tested for fentanyl, as well as she was charged for possession of a weapon by a convicted felon for the taser that she had readily at use on her person in her waistband. And that would be Belinda Stanislaus again.
okay, Mr. Daniels, do you have any questions of Officer Huckabee regarding the June 27th, 2024 incident?
I think we talked about trespass a lot. It's gonna be a lot
Yeah.
of this repetitively, but I've already think I made.
Okay,
my point about
okay, fair enough,
trespass.
okay.
And I apologize. And just one question, so this was a possession on the property again?
Yes,
Okay, so that was the second possession on the property,
yes.
okay.
Well, I guess I'm gonna make a statement. We're gonna do that, officer. Did she show the drugs? Was she showing it? Did you see these drugs outwardly?
No, that was found during the inventory of her property.
So incident to arrest, the search, the pat down is when you found drugs, paraphernalia, and the taser on her?
Correct.
She didn't buy anything from the store that day, did she?
I'm not sure if she did.
Did you catch her walking out of the store?
No.
Okay. Walking across the parking lot again?
She was in front of the parking lot on the property.
Is it fair to say that if you cut?
I mean, in
across
front of the
park-
business on the park property.
Is it fair to say if you cut across the business as the crow flies, that's trespassing, correct? Just
If
cut
you're
across-
on the property, then
Right, that's
and you've
trespassing.
been warned not to be on the property, then you would be trespassing.
And this property is large, correct? It's a large property, over 600. I mean, we've seen it. It's a big building. They got a large parking lot, correct?
They have a front parking lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And all the way to the corner, almost out of view, that's their parking lot where the bus stand is, correct? By the fence line. You can show me the picture. I would like to use y'all information. But
They have one row of parking.
right. So if somebody's standing right there inside of that parking lot, outside of the window view, they're trespassing to like on this far corner to the left, right?
Here's your picture if you're.
Yeah. So we don't, did you make a picture like y'all did previously where you arrested her at?
I did not make these pictures, no.
Oh, so we
So
don't
I don't
know
know.
she was arrested. She could have been at the far left corner.
No, she was up. There's right above the yellow car. There's an X on the parking lot. She was in the spot right after that, above that. So right below that, there's a white car, and then below that is a black car, and then she was right around the area of where the black car and that empty space is.
Okay. And where were you, since we talking about this substation, you called her 2 times. Where have you been posted at?
I patrol that area, so when I come around the corner, then I observed her on the property.
So was she stationary or was she walking?
I don't recall if she,
Okay. I
if she
just
was
don't-
pacing, walking,
Because that's
stationary.
a corner, so I'm curious if like some people are cutting the corner, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you know,
No, she wasn't at the perimeter of the property.
okay.
She was in front of the store.
She was on a parking spot. Again, it's either the one that's where the black vehicle is or the one below it.
Okay.
That would be within probably 5-10 feet from the actual building.
Closer to the building
Yeah.
than the sidewalk.
Yeah, okay.
And did the security guard get involved in that situation?
No, on that occasion, there was a security guard in the parking lot, and no, they did nothing to help or to call for help.
This was pretty much a month after the
While
prior
I had
one?
to wrestle her into cuffs. Was
Okay, I'm
that?
sorry, this was about a month after the prior one?
I don't recall the date of the.
You got my book.
Oh, here.
Was that on, there was one on the 27th of June and then one's on the 21st. Which of the two?
I think we're talking about the 27th now.
27th, okay.
Which one we talking about, this one? Okay, so within days then? Okay. I don't have anything further.
I think it's on the record, you're talking about our judges releasing these people too soon.
Oh, so what were we saying, that on the June 21st, 24 incident, June 27th, 2024 incident were the same people? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Is that what I'm hearing?
What was the one before?
You mean that's Yolanda twice?
You could take the book back if you was working better with this one.
I don't know how you have these in order.
The back, moving forward, so
I can take the book.
9201. Registered her.
Which one?
We're talking about these two
This one?
and this one.
That's Belinda, right?
Here.
They don't look like the same person.
Okay.
See, it's in case for you.
Yes.
92 one's here. That was Hanson, Dana.
That was the last one before her.
621. And then
627.
It's 27. I can tell you the report numbers.
Yeah, she's 420, 422 and 627 is Yolanda.
Yes.
Belinda.
So it was her, then Dana Hanson, and then this one is.
Yes, Dana Henson was at 621.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, that's a different
Okay.
person, okay. Okay, so a couple months.
422 to 627, correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
any further questions on this?
Just for the record, Officer Huckabee, could you just describe the general area around there?
So the store, like the property?
No, the neighborhood.
So it faces US 1, and we have I believe 4 lanes of traffic on US 1 with a median in between. And then directly east is a hotel of some sort.
I guess in general, would you describe this as Daytona Skid Row? You know, US 1 from, let's say, Mason to ISP?
I don't think I understand.
No, okay, if not, all right. My description.
It's a drug,
Okay.
drug infested area.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay,
if that's
yeah,
what you're
yeah,
asking,
that's what I'm
yes.
trying to get
Like,
at.
okay,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
Sorry.
this isn't a suburb somewhere or anything.
No.
This is sort of where a lot of homeless people.
Correct. A lot of drug
dealers-
activity and
drug
prostitution
activity,
is
yeah.
very common and
Right,
prevalent.
yeah, yeah. Okay. All right,
You patrol
Mr.
that area?
Daniels?
I'm sorry.
Or he has another, more testimony? Go ahead.
You patrol that area frequently, right?
I do.
Do you see a security guard in the parking lot when you're patrolling?
On some occasions, not always. I have seen them on a couple occasions, but usually they're in their car or inside the building.
When they're in their car, which way are they normally sitting in their car? Towards the building or away from the building?
More commonly, usually they're backed in at the north side of the parking lot, and facing North Street.
I patrol that area, doing progress checks on it and stuff, and I have never personally seen one outside without another officer already being there. They're normally inside, as we'll show in the, they'll be in their car sleeping. Some of them aren't even in uniform, and we'll get to that as we go.
Okay. Just to be clear, you're not a witness, though. You're just giving us your position.
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Wright, I mean, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
He's sworn to tell the truth.
Sergeant Blauer
he's
swore to tell the
expressing-
truth? Oh, I didn't, oh, I'm sorry. You did, okay,
Yeah.
okay, I didn't notice that. I
And he's
apologize. Yeah, okay.
expressing his actual
Usually he's like
observations.
considered the prosecutor, so are you the prosecutor?
Well,
Who's
hopefully
who?
I am. He's a presenter.
Who's who? Okay, all right, okay. I didn't see that Sergeant Blowers stood up and took the oath like everybody else. I apologize.
You have personal knowledge.
Yes. I have personal knowledge. As
No, I
a
didn't
sworn
know, I
officer.
didn't know you've been sworn
And
in.
I was sworn
Okay.
in.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on. 'Cause
I
we're
have
outta
one
here.
question.
3 o'clock, we get booted, no matter what.
So
Quick question before we move on. On the
Absolutely,
point
Mr.
about the
Jackson.
security guards, you mentioned that sometimes you see a security guard, sometimes you don't. The decision that was made by the board, it says during all open business hours. So anytime you drive by, you should see a security guard if the store is open.
Correct.
If one needs to take a break or go downtown, somebody needs to replace him so that there's somebody on site at all times, right? So if there's not, that's a violation of the decision that was made.
And on
Thank you.
some instances, there has not been one on their property entirely.
Thank you.
Any questions? Okay, just want to make sure you get your opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you, Mr. Daniels. Moving on.
823
Or 8-3.
on 8-3, sorry. Officers observed subject that had been previously trespassed. Officer Perez was had issued the trespass warning on February 4th of 2023, and the person was on the property again. That person was arrested, which is part of the order number 1, prohibited from maintaining a nuisance on the property, so they're allowing the people to be back there, causing the same issues, allowing conduct on the business activity property which is conducive to such nuisances. That was case 11386.
And where did you see this individual, Officer Huckabee?
The officer that wrote that is not here,
Okay.
but just
alright,
another
so-
case of a trespass where the people are still there and
Okay.
being on the property.
Well, so then did you want to introduce
The report number, yeah.
the report itself and the evidence? Otherwise, I mean, you can't.
Yeah. All
Mr.
those
Huck-
case numbers, we're gonna submit into evidence.
Okay, just make sure you don't forget to do that then. All right.
So introducing case number 11386 into evidence, which is in your book there, that an officer had arrested somebody who had been previously trespassed.
Why don't we show that to Mr. Daniels?
That's Crawford, Mr. Rice, but not here, but just for the record, just say that's the Crawford standard here. I can't confront this alleged person, okay? So I have nothing.
You're
I'm sorry,
objecting?
Mr. Daniels, I could hardly hear
He
you.
said the Crawford.
I
so
said
he's
that
doing
to the court.
Was that a hearsay objection, or what was your
I'm not
objection?
gonna object, I'm making this, I just said it was a Crawford rule, but we're not in court, so I'm just saying I can't
Okay,
confront this
okay.
person. And so we're introducing evidence into the record, but this is a different type of hearing, so I'm just letting the court reporter know I object to that.
Okay. All right.
Administrative.
All right, I'll accept report number ending in 386, was it? I apologize.
Yeah, 11386.
11386 as the police department's Exhibit 1.
Mr. Chair, I would, it was our intent to have this book provided to Mr. Daniels prior to the proceeding, and for whatever error that prevented us from doing that earlier prior to the proceeding. In fact, he had contacted our office yesterday, and we had provided him an order, and I was expecting that he was going to get the copy of this material that's been provided to the board as well. So I do want to acknowledge that, because all of the reports are part of that book, and we do intend on introducing the book as a whole as part of the evidentiary, since it is being reviewed by the board as part of the evidence in this proceeding.
Okay. I think if you're going to introduce hearsay documents, they have to be sworn documents under the administrative rules. So I don't think we just throw every piece of hearsay in unless it's something the officer testified to.
I'd have to pull case law, but I disagree with you, Mr. Rice, that they have to be sworn documents for hearsay. Hearsay, general hearsay in an administrative proceeding is admissible. The weight of that evidence would have to be the issue, and obviously if it's not sworn, but it's even saying what someone told you down the street is admissible in an administrative proceeding. And I can provide you the case law in support of that. I don't have it with me right now.
It may have changed. Mr. Simpson, do you have an opinion on that, or? We're talking about introduction of an unsworn document. Hearsay is allowable in an administrative proceeding, but my understanding was that'd be a sworn document.
Well, these are all public records. Secondly, there's evidence that these are maintained in the regular course of business. That these are all maintained records, would they be admissible under the business record exception? As business records of the police department?
That would be an alternative.
Certainly wouldn't work in a court of law, but,
I don't know, and I know they're all public records.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be an alternative argument, but they are business records as well.
That's my objection, that's why I made the objection with the court reporter, just in case this ends up wild.
No, as a regular, through the years, as a regular course, we've always admitted 798s. I forget what they call it. They keep changing the number. The arrest affidavits that the officers do.
Yeah, we're up to 707s now.
They're up to 707s. Thank you. Anyways, but those were always sworn arrest affidavits. We accept those administrative hearings, but some of these are miscellaneous service reports. That's all. Of course, we got the witnesses. You've got plenty of evidence, by the way, sir. But you're fighting over this. I'm not saying plenty of evidence to win, but he's getting plenty of evidence in. Mr. Daniels is shaking his head. Okay, all right. So trying to move it along because we're going to probably take a break in about 5 minutes. So
Case number
restroom.
11999.
Okay.
Should be dated 8/16 of 2024.
Okay, is this Officer Huckabee or somebody else?
This is me, sir.
Okay, great. That makes it easy. We don't have any hearsay issues.
All right. This was an 8/16/2024. It's another female that was previously trespassed from J Food Store during this encounter. I believe it was just the trespassing on this one, right? Yeah. So this is another one that was previously trespassed on September 10th, 2022 by Officer Gaspard.
Okay.
So there seems to be like is this like a core group of people that you know that frequent this area that, you know,
Regular.
it appears that you're just driving by and seeing these people over and over again
Because
in the parking lot. They've been previously trespassed, you spot them and then you go arrest them.
Correct.
So
And
there,
then
is there
once we
is there
usually we-
thousands of these people or just is it a limited number? I know that's an exaggeration, but.
there's a limited number of the
These
consistently
bad apples that are hanging around right
repeat
there.
that refuse to quit going to the store. I mean, just like every location across
Okay,
the
so
city,
they're not going in the
there's
store,
always
they're skulking around the parking lot.
loitering around the
Spot.
parking lot, sometimes going in the store, depending.
Okay, but, okay, I might be ahead of it, but none of these are in the store. These are all people you rounded up in the parking lot, isn't it, pretty much?
Correct. There, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mean.
The
to
ones
jump
we've
the
talked
gun.
about so far.
According to my readings, you know, everyone's in the parking lot.
This one she was inside the store and she was observed walking out of the store.
Okay. On the 816?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And are these people frequent flyers at the county jail as well?
Yes.
Yeah. Mr. Daniels, do you have any questions of him?
I know more about trespassing. I'm gonna let it go.
Okay.
If I may, Mr. Rice, members to the board, I do want to, Mr. Daniels pointed out the provisions of the statute in his opening statement of 893-138, and of those provisions, subsection 2C says, on one occasion as the site of the unlawful possession of a controlled substance where such possession constitutes a felony, and that has been previously used on more than one occasion as the site of unlawful sale, delivery, manufacture, cultivation of any controlled substance. So among the types of things that would constitute a nuisance on a property, just the property at large, is not only selling it, but having people on the property that have possession of these drugs. And it may be recognized and previously presented by Sergeant Blowers that we had 10 sales that occurred in a 6-month period, which was the basis of the original finding and order that was presented by this board, was based upon sales of individuals on that property of drugs. So that's how that all connects from our perspective.
Okay, okay.
Possession?
I think,
This particular one wasn't a possession one. This was just a.
But any of the possession ones, were they a felony amount of possession?
Yeah,
usually they're all
felony.
fentanyl and crack.
Fentanyl and crack cocaine are both felonies, sir. Yes.
All felony?
There's been testimony as to 2 possessions on the property up to this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would expect there's another one with the other wheelchair guy that we ain't gotten to yet.
Okay, all right. All right,
Next
Okay.
case.
so this lady was walking out of the store, she'd been trespassed previously, and she was just taken into custody because of the trespass.
Yes.
Okay, so no other
No, just
drugs
trespass.
involved? Okay, no drugs.
Not on hers.
Okay, fair enough.
Sorry, Ms. Rice, I have to make one comment here.
Mr. Daniels,
Yes.
can you come up to the microphone when you speak, please?
Oh, okay, sure. You've been able to hear me? Okay. Officer, are you aware whether Mr. whomever was working at the store sent her out of the store? I mean, you keep testifying you saw her there. Did you see them usher her out of the store?
I did not see what happened, what occurred inside the store, no.
So you don't know if they say, hey, you don't belong in here, do you? You don't know that, do you? Like, you need to get out.
No, I wouldn't know what happened.
Okay, so
inside the store.
we're taking this as evidence, but we don't know right now whether or not she was sent out the store and he saw her and arrested her. So just want to put that on the record. And also as the statute again, as my opening said, we were here because of sales. And we don't have the authority. No security guard has the authority to pat people down. Law enforcement has that right. So when we use that and say that they have drugs in their possession, any of these gentlemen would be would be probably arrested by the same people who are testifying that these people have, as we all lawyers, some of us can't pat people down. So we're using this as evidence, but it's something that nobody can stop. We can't touch them, by law.
Right.
Only law enforcement has that authority to stop people with pipes and things in their possession and weapons underneath them. Security guard can't do that.
That would be important of why we keep trespassing, because these guys do normally have drugs or have committed a crime, and so we trespass them to keep that from going back there, causing the nuisance on the property.
All right, I'm gonna call a break here at 1:30 for 5 minutes only. So set your watches. It's 1:40 p.m. and Sergeant Blowers still has the floor, so to speak, and Officer Huckabee is his witness, and we can go ahead and resume. You guys hold it down over here next to me, please, and keep going.
Officer Huckabee, why do you know these people by names when you come across them in the parking lot?
Usually it's due to repeat encounters of criminal violations, whether it's city ordinance or state statute. And usually I'm able to identify the same ones that continuously and almost daily violate those laws in the same area.
You've made a majority of these arrests that we've gone over so far. Has security or employees come out to you in reference to any of your arrests, asking you if
No.
you to remove them or anything?
No.
Okay.
Are there destinations that these people walk from place to place, or what's, like, it sounds like they're all just sort of like the same people circulating the same area.
It tends to be the same area that they hang out at, except for maybe during they'll go down to the church for lunch, but for the most part, these same people that's the location that they're always at.
Okay. What's the draw to that location? Just the fact that it's a minute market?
Based on when we shut them down for the 3 days, when there was nobody out there, the store's the draw.
Okay. Place to get a beer, cigarettes, snack, or whatever.
Buy drugs, sell drugs. Gonna go to 8/22/24. The case number is, the last 5 is 12334. Respond there, reference to a battery. The unsecured on the property without security intervention. That officer's not here. I'd just like to insert the report as evidence. Just showing they're maintaining the nuisance, the business isn't controlling of keeping the people out and allowing the same people to come back over and over and over again. Any questions on that one?
I read it, so I know what it was. The girlfriend threw the beer at the boyfriend, and or not, the boyfriend had a capias for his arrest, and they each got arrested for different crimes. I'm just looking for it right now, though. So, just Officer Huckabee, is this one of yours?
No.
That was not one of mine, sir.
Okay.
That's why I'm putting the report as evidence. The officer's not here, but it's just showing the pattern continuing.
Mr. Daniels, he's trying to introduce this report. Do you need to take a look at it, or see if you want any objections to it?
I object to this report again, but I didn't get this stuff. So just for the record, for the court, I didn't receive this package, so I'm going against this loaded deck, and I didn't get the information on it. So I'm just going by the one thing they provided me was this affidavit report. So all this extra innuendo you all are mentioning, I have no idea about it. But I'll do my job as an attorney on the fly with what I know. So I
Okay.
digress.
Mr. Rice, there's no reason for Mr. Daniels to do it on the fly. Any attorney in any proceeding would be shown a document that's being presented, whether they had it in advance or not, and they would have the opportunity to respond to that document. We're willing and able to show it to him so he can review it if he so desire, and we're asking to have it introduced, recognizing that it's hearsay, but nevertheless, that also it's admissible from our position, and I think my co-counsel has kind of confirmed that. I don't know if Mr. Simpson was satisfied with the law that she had provided.
Oh, is there some law?
You can go ahead and present it to the chairman.
Yeah. I think I make the rules on the
We
admissibility.
didn't print
I
it.
have it on my laptop, on my tablet, I can bring it up. In some, what Mr. Simpson said was correct in the sense that this is not a criminal proceeding, and the exception, the public records exception does apply. Police reports are banned in criminal, they're forbidden as hearsay exceptions in a criminal proceeding, which this is not.
What, you want to just email it to me real quick?
That's not my issue here. My issue is the statement of any one of us. There's 5 lawyers in this room, and so him to make a broad statement that I should be worth my salt if I read this report or something, I'm saying I didn't get the report.
Right, yeah, you're flying blind. Is what
Right.
you're doing.
So for him to make that statement, I just want to clear that. Don't make a statement like that about whether any lawyer might be able to read it. That's incorrect to me.
Right, I got you.
Well, I believe the letter itself.
He's
the
just
no-
alleging discovery violations, basically what he's saying.
Except there was no discovery, but the notice itself cited those reports, and any of them could have been easily pulled. They were all public record.
Email that. Paul Rice at ricelawflorida.com.
But in addition to that, as I said, we're at a proceeding. We have the documents available for us to review if he so elects, and if he elects not to review them, that's his choice, obviously, and that's all I'm saying.
And he could have reached out at any time to ask for these. I mean, we gave plenty of notice of this hearing.
Question, you sent me an email a month ago, was the same email forwarded to the respondent?
Yes.
That a packet would be
Well, not-
available at the desk for them?
No.
'Cause I got that, I can look.
No,
at it.
that was just for the board members, but an attorney would ask for any information on it and never reached out to me.
My email stated that this was the affidavit, and then nothing about a packet.
And in the affidavit, I listed case numbers that could have done a public records request to get the same information, so.
So I'm going to reserve ruling on admitting these unsworn documents until I can see what the law is on that. Okay,
That's fine.
if it's shown they don't have to be sworn documents, then that's not a problem. Or if you can get a police report in through the business records exception, then that's it too. I'm sort of looking for an administrative hearing is what we're admissibility and administrative hearing. Okay. That was the 8/22/24 incident.
Gonna go to case number 13019 on 9/4/2024.
And in this case, this is Daniel Miller. It's also in a wheelchair, like Dana Henson. And he was trespassed after warning. The previous trespass warning that was used in this current report was from Officer Ayala on 8/3/2024, which was.
So this is one of your reports.
This one is one of my reports.
It is, okay,
Yes.
okay.
But he was, on this report, I arrested him for trespass after warning. He was previously warned by Officer Ayala.
Thank you, okay.
On 8/3/2024.
Gotcha.
There was no narcotics or anything on him on that incident.
Did you know this person's name?
Yes, Yes, I knew him. By look, him and Dana Hansen, both in wheelchairs, are constantly in that same area and repeatedly going back to that same property.
It looks like he has an address of 500 Bill France Boulevard.
Yes.
Did security or an employee come out and meet you at any time of the arrest asking
No.
or requesting you to trespass them or thanking you, saying, hey, this person's a problem?
No.
Did you go inside the store and request a copy of the trespass arrest site?
Yes, I would have gotten a copy of that
So
previous trespass warning that Officer Ayala wrote
So then you,
as evidence of that.
they would have known that this person had been there before and
Yes.
And this trespass, no drugs involved in this.
Not in this arrest, no.
Mr. Bender.
I think, well, I think for everybody's board edification, I might need to learn the trespassing process because he just mentioned another officer trespassed him. So it sounds like the store didn't trespass him. So I'm just trying to get how this works because if the store trespasses them, then as you said, Mr. Jackson, then they should know who they trespass. But I think you said a police officer trespassed them under the initiative, correct?
So whenever we fill out a trespass warning, the police officer puts their name on that so that we know what officer was involved.
Okay.
It doesn't necessarily mean that it was the officer's discretion, such as a trespass initiative program that they are signed up for. It would imply that that officer responded. So if an owner of a business called me, or if you called me to your house and said, I want this person trespassed, then I would trespass that person on your request.
Okay. Can y'all trespass them just because y'all know they are continually out there, like, you know?
Under the trespass initiative, then we would be able to enforce that and trespass people who are violating the loitering.
Okay, so we don't know whether or not the store is actually at fault for this trespass because the other officer who was not here, you said originally trespassed him, right?
The original trespass form was filled out by Officer Ayala.
Right.
Yes.
So don't know if it originated from the store owner. All right, thank you.
Okay, next incident, please.
9/11/24, case number 13436, Officer Huckam.
All right, so on this one, on the north end of the parking lot, closer to the north end of the parking lot, towards the middle, as I came around and observed the defendant on this one, he was attempting to light a glass pipe that had white residue in it. When I made contact with him, he concealed the pipe, ultimately resulted in it, when I located the pipe, that I'd already witnessed him trying to light openly in plain view in the parking lot, directly in front of the store. It was field tested and had a presumptive reaction for crack cocaine.
Cocaine or fentanyl?
No, I'm sorry. Did I say yes? Fentanyl.
This is another wheelchair guy.
No. Well, yes, he was using a wheelchair, but he was not wheelchair bound.
Okay.
He was.
Well, I circled wheelchair.
He was
on my
standing up,
notes,
and
so,
then during
I
the
know there's a
encounter.
wheelchair involved.
Right. I'm sorry. Yes, there was a. He had a wheelchair with him. When I observed him lighting the pipe, he was standing up and then walked back towards the wheelchair.
I got
So
you.
yes, he's not.
A
Not
mobile.
somebody who's
It's a mobile.
normally using one.
A mobile chair. Yes.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. So where did you first see the individual?
In the parking lot on the east side of the building, directly, which is the front of the building.
Front of the building. Okay. All right. I forget. Was he a previously trespassed individual or no?
I didn't. No, he wasn't somebody that I recognized as being trespassed, and he was not charged. So, guessing he was not previously trespassed when I looked.
What was the basis for your search?
When I pulled into the parking lot, he was actively lighting a.
And that residue field tested presumptively for fentanyl?
Yes.
He was arrested for
The possession of the fentanyl and paraphernalia. And fentanyl is felony, yes.
Did any of the employees meet you in the parking lot or?
No.
Did the security guard come out and say anything about him doing any illegal activity in the parking lot?
No.
Okay, Mr. Daniels, do you have any questions?
Yes, sir.
Of Officer Huckabee regarding the September 11th, 24 incident?
Just a couple. Just, officer, you say he was just cutting across the parking lot, correct?
I said what?
He was cutting across the parking
No, I
lot?
did not
He
say
was,
that.
was he standing
He
in the
was
parking
standing in
lot?
the parking lot.
With a mobile wheelchair?
That was near him, yes.
Okay, so he's just holding the wheelchair and
He
then
was not
smoke-
touching the wheelchair when I came around the corner. He
Okay,
was in
so-
front of the wheelchair,
And he stopped and
approximately
lit up?
maybe two steps in front of the wheelchair.
And he stopped and lit a crack pipe in the parking lot?
He was trying to block the wind and light the crack pipe.
Okay. Had he come out of the store?
No, he was standing in the parking lot directly in front of the store.
Okay, so it wasn't this side though. Hadn't gone this side.
It was on the property.
And there's no evidence of him buying that crack pipe from the J store, correct?
No, I did not ask where he bought the pipe.
Okay. And as Officer Blyer continues to say, if somebody comes out and helps you, so to speak, what constitutes obstruction of justice? That charge, obstruction of justice. Like if somebody says they want to help a police officer, could they be arrested for obstructing justice, like getting in your way?
I think there's a lot of hypotheticals you could do to obstruct justice, but no, if a security guard came out inquiring about what's going on the property that they're supposed to be managing, that would not be an obstruction of justice.
You don't mind them coming out and asking you
I
what's
do not
going on?
mind a
Okay.
uniformed security guard coming
All
up to me and inquiring about what is going on the property that they've been charged to protect.
And if he, as long as they don't get in your way, right?
Right.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
The next one will be case number 15866, and I'll be calling Officer Perez.
Give it to her. I never got
Officer
her
Perez
email.
located an employee
Like email
on the
address.
property who had a warrant.
Sure, what date was this? I apologize.
10/26/24.
Thank you. Okay. Officer, how are you?
Well, hi.
And your name again was?
Officer Jaime Perez.
Okay, and were you sworn previously?
Yes.
Okay, great. Go ahead.
So on this day, I made contact with a female inside of the J Food store who had a warrant out of Volusia County in reference to failure to appear for trespassing and possession of paraphernalia, narcotics paraphernalia. I've been in contact with her multiple times since the J Food store. It's part of my zone of accountability, or what we call AOR. That has been my zone for 5 years. So I made contact with her, and upon confirmation of the warrant, she was subsequently arrested for the warrant and transported to the Daytona Beach Police Department, which consequently transported to the branch jail.
When you located her, what did she have on her?
She didn't have any narcotics possession. The warrant was actually for the narcotics paraphernalia. However, there has been multiple priors with this female in reference to narcotics paraphernalia, narcotics, trespassing, and prostitution, dating back 2010.
You arrested her in the store?
Yes, sir.
And did you know that she had an outstanding warrant when you saw her?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you knew she was on the lam?
Yes, through the CGIS, I knew that she had a warrant. Through contact, I knew that she was at the store, so I went to the store and located her inside the store, and subsequently, upon contact, confirmed the warrant and placed her under arrest.
And
Yes,
I
sir.
see that she was arrested for trespass and possession of paraphernalia.
Yes, the failure to appear on warrant, the cases were in reference to trespassing
Oh, okay.
and possession of
So
property.
she wasn't trespassing at Jay's Food Store?
No, sir. The actual warrant was for the failure to appear to court.
The
in
underlying
reference to-
charges for the CAPIS.
Right, sir.
The what, bench warrant, whatever.
This indicates that she's an employee?
Yes, when I through location to several contacts that confirmed that she was at the store, I was advised that she was an employee. Upon entering the store, I observed that she was on the counter on the west side of the building, on the counter where the food area behind it. Upon contacting, I called her, she came out, and that's when I physically made contact. Granted, if you are behind the counter or food area, there's not only people that are your employees or approved by the employment, it actually have access to that area, sir.
Okay, thank you.
I noticed that she too has an address of 500 Bill France Boulevard.
Yes,
She's homeless as well?
yes, sir.
Okay. Did you confirm she was an employee, or by assumption, you assume she's an employee because she's in the restricted area?
Well, I didn't make at that point in time. I was not contacted or made contact with the owner of the property to confirm the actual employment. And furthermore, I was not contacted or approached by security for the business.
To answer my question, we don't know if she was an actual employee or not.
Well, in reference to confirmation, it was behind the actual restricted access to the restricted access to regular public. Because behind the counter, only people that had access, ergo employees, will have access to that part of the actual business.
I understand your assumption. I just want to know if you ever confirmed with anybody that she was an actual employee.
With the owner, no, because the owner was not there.
Okay.
Or with the actual security, because they were not there.
Was she the only
Well, not that
person?
we're not there. I was not approached or contacted by any people representative for the business.
Okay, so was there anybody else back behind the?
Not that I recall, sir. Not that I recall in that area, sir, where I made contact with her.
So was she the only person in the store?
No, there were other people, but she had the warrant, so I had to focus on her.
All right, fair enough. Okay. Yes, Mr. Ruby.
Were there other employees in the store?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Daniels.
No, we'll address that when Mr. Saeed comes up.
Okay, all right, all right. Okay.
Can you pull up the PowerPoint again?
Thank you, officer.
Yes. Next one. Paragraph 3A, respondent shall have a security guard from a reputable security company during all open business hours commencing February 12, 2024. Reputable security company would follow the standards of Florida Department of Agriculture Consumer Services, which states in order for individuals to be able to get a security Class D permit to work within the state, the following criteria listed on Florida Department of Agriculture's website. Next slide. And then they have to have a criminal history done. They have to take a 40-hour class. If they've been convicted of felony or any crime against the United States, which is designated a felony or convicted of an offense in any other state, territory, country, punishable, imprisoned for a term exceeding a year, unless civil rights have been restored for a period of 10 years has passed since the final release. So if they've been arrested and have a felony, they can't get their license. A background check it'd be obvious that by state statute that they wouldn't be able to get a license. Next slide. On 2/14/24, approximately 13:32 hours, Officer Morales is going to come up.
So what's the date again?
Morales.
The date.
2/14/24, case number 2268.
Thank you. Go ahead, Officer Morales.
Good afternoon.
And have you been sworn?
I have been sworn.
Okay, great, thanks.
I can. Brian, Brian. So, like my report kind of says, at approximately 13:32, I observed the gentleman sitting like less than 5 feet besides the front entrance of the door. I went to make contact to see if he's security because I've been seeing him there since I started my shift at 6 a.m. till 1:30. Once I made contact with the subject, he identified himself. I cannot say either of those names. But I made contact with the male. He was wearing a sweater that did not have any logos or anything. Identified himself as security. Once I asked him like, "Hey, are you security or anything for this property?" He pulled up his sweater and then showed a pink shirt which had a security logo on it.
Next slide.
That's the sweater and everything he was wearing. So I went and asked him if he's security. He advised me that he is. So then I just like, okay, do you have your name? I just asked him for his name and stuff. Upon an FCIC, NCIC search of his name, it revealed to me that he was on felony probation for GTA or Grand Theft Auto. So then I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know you could be security and currently on probation. So I asked him to show me some identification or anything that shows that he is security. And then he provided me that slip that was dated like 2 weeks prior to the incident. And asked him if he got anything from the state or anything identifying himself, anything actual physical saying that he's security. He wasn't able to provide me anything besides that paper.
This paper here that's on the picture?
Correct, which was dated 2 weeks prior. And while speaking to the gentleman, he stated that he used to be employed at Jay's Food Store, and then now he is working as security. He got it because of all the issues that came from Nuisance Abatement.
And what's his name?
I can go.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And I followed up on this and did a check. You can see if they have a valid security license or have applied for one. And his name did not show any application for Class D security license state of Florida. But he wouldn't have qualified based on his felony. So if the background had been conducted by a security company, they wouldn't have. And I don't. Is there another slide next? Okay, no. Go back. In the packet that he had a security shirt from the company. He was wearing underneath a sweater, but he just didn't have it. So he was in their uniform, as they say.
They had a pink security shirt with no license.
Yep.
Do you remember what the shirt said on?
No, I cannot recall off the top of my head. Oh, it's be like that. I'll go over there.
So, SC protection, basically, with their logo.
Okay, and this was, I guess, about 9 days after we entered our order, it looks like. So were you there to see if they were in compliance?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Mr. Daniels, you have any questions?
No, I'm gonna address this in a few minutes. Once I get it.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, fair enough. Anybody have any questions for Officer Morales? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next slide. On the 22nd, conducted a follow-up on the property. Security was found not to have.
February 22nd or what?
February 22nd.
Okay.
So I went there. did it
24.
February
Yeah,
24th.
yeah.
After his to see about the security and there was another security guard on there. His name was Mr. White. He was working. He was in a blue uniform top, and I asked him for his state license. He was able to give me a temp, and then I searched that, and it was denied, and he was on probation for uttering a forged instrument. So with a felony, he wouldn't have qualified, which is why his application was denied. But his permit, temporary permit, you can go there, apply, is good for until they go through it. But this permit was issued in 2023, so the company should have known that it was denied by this point.
Okay. Okay, anybody have any, first of all, Mr. Daniels, do you have any questions of Sergeant Blowers regarding this security guard?
No, the security guard coming on is here, so we're gonna address these allegations.
Right, okay, fair enough. Board, everybody okay? All right, in that case, next issue or incident.
Next slide. Officer Huckabee. On 9/15/2024, reference case number 13652, conducted a property check at 11:15, and he will tell you.
So I was doing a property check and I couldn't locate a security guard on 9/15/2024. I then made contact with Raymond Saeed, and he advised me that he sent the security home early and that he was working on replacing him for that day, and it would be done within a short time period. Throughout the day, that was at 11:15, I believe. 11:15 hours in the morning. Throughout the day, I continuously checked up on the property, all the way up until 6 p.m. And throughout the day, there was never a replacement of security on that date.
Per your board's order, anytime that the business is open, they're supposed to have security on property, or they should be closed until another one gets there. And at this point, obviously, sworn testimony is that security was not there.
All right, Mr. Daniels, any questions?
As you say, check on the property, you make a peripheral outside check, right? You just check the outside parking lot, correct?
Yes, we do actual patrols throughout the city of different properties.
You didn't go inside to see whether the officer, like y'all said, man.
I did go inside.
You went inside, you didn't see a police officer that day?
Correct, and inside the building is where I made contact with Raymond Saeed.
And
he
that's what
advised me that he sent security home.
And later on that day, did you go back inside to see if the security guard had come back? And was the business still open?
The business was open and security was not.
Okay.
Did not.
All right, we'll address it because I got.
All right. Then look, anybody has any more questions? So next incident or issue.
Can you bring that slide back up? So on October 31st, 2024, I was conducting a compliance check of the property and found the security guard sleeping in the vehicle. And there's a picture I have where he was just passed out. He was not in uniform, but was normally the security guard that was on during the day there. He is licensed. He had been representing the property in the past when I've done checks. But at this time, when I was there, he was sleeping in his car, and the car was facing the store. So there was no security really there. I notified the owner, and
and he walked out with me, and we woke him up.
All right. Mr. Daniels, any questions? Okay. All right. All right.
Next.
Yep.
So on 12/12/24, doing a follow-up on this, reference the security company, and security, doing the check, and was a security officer, Terrell Peterson, on duty. He was not wearing a security shirt, the standard uniform. He was wearing a tack vest, with a security badge chain around his neck, and he was wearing a hat that said SC Protection. He said he was the security officer on duty, and he was driving a marked security vehicle from SC. Well, he said he was driving the marked security vehicle. That was his vehicle in the parking lot. Checked his permit on the website and also found that he was on probation for aggravated assault with a weapon without intent to kill, and his permit security license had been denied by the state. And that's what the system looks like when you pull it up.
Mr. Daniels? No questions. All right. Okay. Next issue or incident?
Next. That's all I have on the security guard. Paragraph 3C, respondents shall keep the store windows unobstructed, allow a clear view inside and out of the store commencing no later than February 12, 2024. On 10/31/24, conducting compliance checks of the property, and there was an advertisement taped on the front door with a white large whiteboard that was listing like food sales, was blocking the view of the window. You can see the sub sign there in the picture. That's looking out from the front window. You can see the stuff obstructing the view there, and then you see the stuff. There was actually another paper there, but when I came in, I talked to the owner, and he had taken one of the papers off the door before I got the picture, and that's the view looking out into the parking lot. As you can tell, the view is obstructed. In the beginning, it was in compliance, and then he every time I went, there would be another thing up there, and it kept falling out of compliance. And I talked to him, and he was like, yeah, and this sub sign he said was blocking for the sun. The sun was shining in there.
So the what's that about blocking the sun? One more time.
It's a whiteboard, and it looks like it's subs for sale.
Oh, sub sign. Okay, all right. Sub sandwich. Okay, all right. Okay.
Do you know if he takes that down or just puts it up in the morning when he has the morning? Because it's an east-facing building, so I don't know if
I've been there multiple times, and
he
it
just
had
leaves
been
it up.
there.
All right. Next incident or issue. Did you have a question about that, Mr. Daniels?
I don't know if it was the board's intent to be restrictive of him advertising. I mean, you know, he is a business, so assign subs is that something they're selling. So it's not to try to keep the police from looking in, so to speak. You know, it's just that I'm selling food, and this is a business that has lost a considerable amount of its business traffic due to us complying with y'all order. So I think that's just a sub sign. And the other sign I will testify was one for the homeless shelter's food that he did snatch down for Officer Blower. So, you know, just to set the record for what the other sign said was telling the people y'all can get food at the shelter, you know. So it wasn't for his benefit at that other one either. And he knows that.
Okay. And if I can, just in response.
That was his argument, but you know, okay. If you want to throw some argument in, go ahead.
Just in response to Mr. Attorney Daniels, items that the board expressed as parts of the board's order were purposeful. And the chair may remember, as well as whoever else was part of that proceeding, that it was not only to stop police from looking in, that wasn't the biggest purpose for clearing the windows, but to allow the employees of the store to see out so that they can intervene if they saw some activity that should not be happening in their, on their property.
Right, sure. I remember this issue very well. Thank you.
And as the argument is, you can't see the parking lot, so you can't help make sure that the nuisance isn't occurring in the parking lot. And every time I went there, there'd be something, whether a sign for food at the homeless, whatever, as he stated, it just kept restricting the view. Got another case number 6505.
All right, in this case, this was
What's the date of that one?
11/7/24.
Thank you.
On 11/7/24, I observed another known prostitute and drug user, known as Barbara Paxton. She entered the store. I went to make contact with her, for she had been I knew her to be previously trespassed multiple times from the same location. By the time I parked and went into the store, she was on the customer side in front of the cash counter, checkout counter, and she was having a mutual conversation with Raymond Saeed and the on-duty security guard. As I walked in and made contact with all three of them, they were not making any contact or any effort to tell her that she was already trespassed or to leave. But like I said, having a mutual conversation, it seemed personal. And then an inventory incident after the arrest, an inventory of her property revealed another pipe with possession of cocaine.
The paraphernalia and possession of cocaine.
Crack cocaine, yes.
Which one is that?
16505 was the case number.
The date?
11/7/24.
Did security come up to you or ask you?
Security was having the conversation. Security and Raymond Saeed were having the conversation with her, and again, like the others, she's probably one of the more popular repeat offenders at that location.
You've given them a trespass warning on her before?
Yeah, she's been trespassed multiple times previously to this incident.
Okay. Do you believe that the owner would have known that she'd been trespassed?
Yes.
This is also showing that security and the owner is just, if they're not complying with the trespass orders to keep the negative nuisance activity from the people that are causing the nuisance from being on the property, that it's repeating the cycle and they're just going back in the same pattern.
From the demeanor of the conversation, was it disputes, arguments, relational?
It seemed like a mutual, agreeable conversation.
So it wasn't like, get out of here, you're always coming and you're always a problem, and none of that kind of conversation? Okay.
Mr. Daniels, do you have any questions of Officer Huckabee regarding this known prostitute previously trespassed, speaking to Mr. Saeed and the security guard in the store?
I just have the last parts of it was that she was with a pipe as well.
I think it's in a purse.
It was in her purse, yes.
Okay.
I believe.
And you walked in, you saw her go into the store, correct?
Correct.
And you walked in and you arrested her, correct?
Correct.
And in the means of doing your job, freeze, you're under arrest. You heard them doing all this conversing. You heard this familiar conversation.
There was not. I don't know the exact content of the conversation, but it was not an argumentative conversation.
But you don't know if they told her to get out or not, right?
They did not. because during the conversation with Raymond Saeed, he had advised me that he would like her trespass from here on, but did not have a problem with her on that day, even though in previous encounters he had her trespassed.
He said that he's right here. Okay, I'll let him state that. All right, thanks, Ms. Ray.
Any questions from the board? Okay, next issue or incident.
Next slide. Paragraph 5, the board imposed a reasonable cost of $5,000 for reasonable attorney fees, investigation costs, and the cost of providing the hearing on public nuisance. To my knowledge and the city's knowledge, they have not paid that fine as of yet, which was in violation of your order.
Mr. Daniels, any questions of
I have
Sergeant
no
Lauer?
question. The time hadn't told yet. It's a year, and we're still within 2 months of that time frame. So, come on.
Fair enough.
Next slide. Showing the call history for the 3 days that the store was closed to show that we were able to abate the nuisances during those 3 days. Like when the store was closed, there was no crime there, no calls there. The only thing was officers had put themselves out there just to do an EP to check the building, but there was nobody found on it or anything like that. So we were, during those 3 days of being closed, successful in abating the nuisance.
So if you convert this into a vacant storefront like everything else on Ridgewood, then there won't be anybody hanging out there. Okay.
Next slide. And I'm going to call Officer Conley, Sergeant Conley.
This is just a copy of our CAD system, again, showing during the sorry, I apologize. Showing that during this time frame that the business was closed, the only calls that were initiated or created at that address was by officers themselves following up and ensuring that they were following the shutdown.
What other properties along that strip do you have problems with?
On this particular, we actually have a pool hall that's just north of that. That is sometimes have a after hours entertainment hall. But since we've been working with or trying to assist them to follow the law, they have since relocated. So it's no longer an issue to date. There's also a property across the street. It's a motel of sorts. That property actually has had a lot of attention with one of our special investigation units. They have actually addressed that, and we are currently working with them to either have them fall in line or be brought in front of the board.
Okay, all right.
Sorry, just to interject. The plaza right north of Jay's Food Store has a few stores in it. It was barbershop and stuff like that.
It's been there forever. I know where you're
Been there
talking
forever. It's the property signed up on the trespass website when things are closed, and for the most part, when I do my patrols, there's nobody just sitting out there in front of the businesses or anything like that. Showing that the problem isn't where there is businesses that are functioning; it's just the clientele that is that they're keeping is directing the nuisance to the store, I guess.
Right. Okay.
And then the next slide.
Where's the next closest convenience store?
The next closest convenience store is actually going to be located at Mason and Ridgewood. It's technically located in Holly Hill. It's a Sunoco there gas station that's right across the street.
Okay. All right.
And then the next other one would be at Martin Luther King.
Yes, and then there's one south of it in the 300 block of North Ridgewood as well. As well, at the 300 block, the Sunoco, there's also a convenience store across the street. I don't know the address right off my head, but it's directly across from 300 North Ridgewood.
On the same side of the street, though, or the
Opposite sides. That would, if you're looking north on Ridgewood, it's on the east side, and then 300 North Ridgewood's on the west side.
Okay.
And there's a Family Dollar at Bay, right?
Yes, there's a Family Dollar in the 200 block of North Ridgewood as well.
Any problems with those other convenience stores?
Not to the same level. We don't get a lot of calls for service, and the few that we have addressed, we usually can get compliance from them or have them investigated by another one of our specialized investigation units. So far, to my knowledge, not to the one across the street in the 300 North Ridgewood. We haven't had a lot of call volume there. I just came from patrol. I'm speaking to that. And 300 North Ridgewood, it's only when they call us. They are very big about not having people hang around.
They what? They don't?
They're not very big about having people hang around.
Okay.
My apologies.
Okay. All right.
The next slide. Oh, I think that was that. Sorry. So the two slides there, which we just switched to, is that's the third and final day. Again, the only other call that was generated on that day was initiated by an officer verifying that the property was following the sanctions.
Okay.
Next slide.
Okay. So we presented our case on how the nuisance is still occurring on this property, how they haven't paid their fine. They didn't, in the order, it didn't say they had a year to pay the fine. It said they had to pay the fine. The windows being blocked.
Are you making a closing statement right now, or because I think Mr. Daniels has to put his case on first, I think, right?
I think he's wrapping up. I think ultimately I'd make whatever closing statement that would be made.
Yeah, he's gonna be close. I'm just kind of
Just
summarizing
don't
what
say
I.
the same thing, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, obviously we don't want to waste
You know what I
the
mean?
board's
You're
time.
gonna say it, then he's gonna say it again.
Yeah, no,
I
we
will
won't.
turn
We
it
won't be
over to
saying
you.
the same thing. I don't think so.
Okay.
All right. So
There was a question.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mr.
Oh, sorry, I just have a question. On the cameras and getting them hooked into the real-time crime center, did that process go smoothly? Has it been done? Has it been useful?
It has been done. It's been useful for when any times crimes occur out there, but it doesn't really help us with the trespassers because we can't sit there and monitor the cameras constantly. It took a while to get the system up and running, but the owner did work with me in the IT from Real Time Crime Center and the company that was putting it in, having to make upgrades on certain equipment and stuff. So it took the length of time longer than we wanted, but he was actively working on that, and it is working.
Thank you.
cameras working inside and outside, or just for the outside? The cameras y'all wanted access to?
It's just the outside that we have.
All right. Mr. Rice, if I may.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Carroll,
Trying
can
to
you
read
come up
her
here,
case.
please?
I'm reading her case law. I'm not reading my emails.
Mr.
Okay.
Carroll. Mr. Gerald, come up, thank you. Just gonna bring up the people that y'all we swore in to speak real quick here. Yeah, I'm going to, just like in court. Hey, can you spell your full name for our court reporter, please?
My name is Roy Gerald. I work at J Store.
How can you spell? You should need to spell it.
Last name?
Yes.
Jarrell.
All right, Mr. Gerald. Can you tell me what you do for the J Store?
I stock and I clean up. I help Bruce cook. Sometimes I just volunteer my time there. But I work here 4 hours a day, and I do it all volunteer work there.
Have you had any interactions with the police since this, in the last year concerning the J Store?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Can you tell the board about those instances, a few of them that you've had, what they've asked you to do?
But they read my rights, but they started reading my rights, and I asked them why they read my rights. They said they had a couple of questions to ask me. And I said, all right. They read my rights, and they asked me some questions about going to the J Store, writing down names on them. They're called packages, which can get high for anything. It's just something to smell and that make people think they are. And they even asked me who was selling crack, and I told them to talk to Megan.
And did they ask you to buy any loose cigarettes or anything like that?
No.
Right. Did they ask you to see if they had stems in there still?
Yeah.
And what'd you tell them?
No.
Okay. All right. That's all I have. Thank you.
Oh, wait a second. Well,
I'm
I think
sorry.
they have a chance to ask him questions.
I apologize, sir.
Stay up there, Mr. Gerald. Mr. Sergeant Blowers may have some questions for you.
Do you work for Jay's Food Store?
Yes.
What do they pay you?
Huh?
What do they pay you?
Money?
How much an hour?
Huh? Well, that has to do with it.
Right.
Proving that he's
Yeah,
an employee and at least making minimum wage.
I was exposing my questions. We weren't asking about finances, and so I'll object to that.
I was curious. You said you volunteered for them, so
Yeah. On my days off.
If you told an officer that you got $15 for a day or a week there or something?
No.
You've never said that?
I work 4 hours a day.
4 hours a day.
Yes. And me and the owner, we made an agreement, and he gives me $15 a day. Because I do, like I said, all this stuff here is already done. And I just have to make sure it just stays stock, or swept, and mop, and trash. That's it.
Okay, so you work there 4 hours and you're getting paid $15 for the 4 hours. You said when you were talking about your being read your rights, was that during the search warrant when we closed down the store?
No. This is off the property.
This was off the property.
Yeah.
So they made contact with you off the property.
Yeah.
Okay, so that wasn't in dealing with Jay's Food Store then.
And not at the store.
Okay.
It was right there next to Connecticut.
When I've gone in there, I found you with an open container behind the counter.
Open container.
Yeah, alcohol.
I don't drink alcohol.
Okay. And well, there was an open container there, and you dumped it out for me.
It was mine though.
Okay. Miss Jackson, that's all I have.
That wasn't a report in your. That wasn't put in your report, correct? The statement you just made. You didn't give us a report of that, did you?
No.
Okay, so we'll excuse that. All right, and you said that they asked you about the J store off property, right? And wanted you to tell things about the store.
Yeah.
Right. All right. That's it. Thank you, Mr. Turner. Aye. Here.
it is cold.
I'm cool.
All right. Can you state your name for the record and spell it for the court reporter, please?
My name is Julia Pickett, Julia Pickett.
And you were sworn previously, weren't you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I thought so. Thanks.
And Mr. Speaker, you're a security guard for the
SC Protection.
SC Protection Agency, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And so you've been at the J store for about how long now?
Since March of this year, of 24.
All right. And during that time, some of these statements made by the officers was on your watch?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have your D license?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So and he didn't show your name on there, right? You didn't see your name come across that screen? All right. And with those interactions I just mentioned, can you tell me, can you clarify for the board what happened with the ones you were dealing with, please?
Yes, sir. The incident with the female, the boyfriend and girlfriend with the beer bottle, I was on call that day. I am the one that called 911. Jeremy had been in my store, and he left the store. No issues at my store at all. He left the store, he walked down North Street, he got by the big tree where Shay threw a bottle or threw beer or something on the back side of him. He came back to the store and he asked me to call 911 for him, that he wanted to press charges against her. So I did allow him to use my phone. I called 911, gave him the phone to use
for the whole incident, which they told him to stay at the J store so the two of them wouldn't be interreacting to have any more issues. So he stayed at the J store while the police officers came to the J store. Meanwhile, Shay came back to the store, so everybody was in front of the J store. But that did not occur on our property at all.
And then the other one about not trespassing someone or something was mentioned. What was that?
Okay, I had also an incident where this gentleman came in the store and appeared to be on something. He came in the store, he went down one aisle, he come down the other, and as he was trying to come out, he looked like somebody was chasing him, but there was nobody. He grabbed two of my shelves, tipped them over, ran out the door. Instantly called 911. No response, no nothing for 8 hours. I had everything cleaned up in the store, picked up. Officer came in 8 hours later and said, "Don't look to be no disturbance." And I said, "Sir, with all due respect, this happened 8 hours ago." He said, "Oh, okay, call us if you need us," and walked out the door.
And lastly,
Nothing about asking if I didn't ask to use, look at cameras, nothing. Didn't say, ask if we wanted anybody prosecuted, nothing.
And lastly, Mr. Pickett, you were contacted by an agent for the for Department of Agriculture, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I guess it was Mr. Lynn. Okay. What was the nature of that visit with him?
Okay, so a lot of times I do sit inside the store because there are 8 cameras. There are 4 cameras on the outside of the store, which I not only can see the front of the store, but I can see North Street and I can see coming down US 1. So if I am out front, okay, and somebody comes running at me, I'm right there right in the front line. In the store watching these cameras, you have time to actually do something. If I seen something about ready to happen, I have time to get to the door, lock the door. I have time to call 911 before they actually get there. But I have the whole facility I can see at once. Now, we have a sign out front that says they're allowed 2 minutes. Somebody comes into the store, they get something to eat, they're on a bicycle. I allow them time to eat whatever they're trying to eat, drink whatever they're trying to drink before they get on their bicycle, because, and forbid, I want somebody wrecking their bike trying to eat or drink going down the road. So I do allow them, that time. If I do not see them leaving, I do go outside, ask them to leave the premises, and then go back in. Or I will stand by the front door inside, especially now it's cold. They don't want us wearing anything because they don't want our uniform to be present. But it's too cold to be out there. And in the midsummer, 105, 106, it's too hot to stand out there all day too. So, it's not that I can't see out there, and I work a lot there. I'm there a majority of the time, but I do nights.
And the officer, Mr. Lynn, that came to inspect you, he worked for the Department of Agriculture, right? How was that visit from him?
It was good. I got offline. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was inside looking at the cameras, and he came in and he pointed to me and he said, I need to speak to you outside. And I said, "Okay, can I ask who you are?" He said, "Absolutely." And he showed me his badge, and he was from agriculture. So I said, "Yes, sir." I got up, I walked outside with him, and he asked me, questions regarding my job and asked for my ID and, did his little investigation, as he called it. And then when we were done, he looked at me and he said, "You did everything you're supposed to be doing." He said, "I commend you." He said, "You're in uniform." He said, "You come out." He said, "Not only did you sit and answer my questions, you were still visibly watching the area as I was talking to you." He said, "And everything's good with you."
Did it feel to you like somebody had sent him there to the store?
Well, just because he kept saying investigation. Like when somebody says investigation, kind of. And there was one other time too that, I guess this is because I keep hearing everybody say, did security come to you? Did security come to you? I will not come out there to you. And I'm gonna explain why I can explain why. There was an incident where this gentleman was on a bicycle and he, I guess, was coming up North Street and coming into our parking lot. The bicycle got put in front of the store, right in front of the front doors. The gentleman was at the police officer's car. So I had an elderly lady in the store in a wheelchair who kept saying, I need to get out, I need to get out. I got out, moved the bike on the side, let the lady out. Meanwhile, the officer said to me, why did you move the bike? That's part of this investigation. I said, I am so sorry. I said, but this lady wanted out. He said, what's more important, our investigation or these people in the store? And I said, well, the people in my store are my personal, that's what I'm there for. And he said, well, now that you touched that bike, I could arrest you and you could be under whatever for a crime, for touching whatever they were investigating or whatever.
Mr. Chair, obviously all this is hearsay testimony without any confrontation, of course. I accept that as admissible. I just believe I'll make the argument subsequent.
Technically, you're not allowed to testify what somebody else told you. You know, you testify about what you heard, if it's a spontaneous statement or what you observed.
Yes, sir, I understand.
But we've been allowing you to go, but we'll give it the due weight.
Right. As well as the testimony related to the inspector.
Yeah, I know, right, exactly. Right. Cautioning the board that the testimony she gave about the agricultural inspector saying what a wonderful job she did was sort of hearsay, but we'll give that the appropriate weight, you know, when weighing the testimony.
Have you had any interaction with officers when they come to and so-called inspect you all?
I haven't had nobody really. They'll pull in the parking lot, and usually if they sit there for a little bit, I'll walk out front so they know, yes, we do have security there.
All right. I have nothing further. Wait.
Any questions of the witness, Sergeant Flowers?
When you first started there, what were your hours?
Can we establish when she first started there is what I'm interested in.
March
Thank you.
2024 till present.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I missed that.
I'm sorry, can I just, I may have missed it too. Did you say when in March, or you just said March in general?
March, I said March of 2024.
Okay, you know when?
I can, but I don't have it on me now.
Getting in March, end of March?
Like the middle.
So, okay.
What were your hours?
My hours, when I first started, it was hard to really say, because if somebody didn't show up, I went. If somebody...
What was your normal shift?
1 to 9.
Are you aware of which officer was there in the morning? Who did you relieve? Did you know who that was?
I don't know what morning you...
Your typical morning when you came in at 1, there was an officer there.
Oh, yes.
Was there a standard officer that you normally met to relieve?
Kern, and that was his first name, and Peterson.
Kern. Does he still work for the company that you know?
No.
You know why? No. Mr. Kern was the one I found sleeping in the vehicle.
Okay.
Does Mr. Peterson still work for the company?
I don't know. When you, let me clarify. When you say company, I'm talking as far as at the J Food store. I don't know if he still works for the company itself.
So you originally were afternoon hours for the most part?
Yes, sir.
What days of the week?
I work Monday through Sunday.
Okay, thanks. So 7 days a week.
You don't take any days off? Have I spoken to you before?
Yes, sir.
Did you always have your paperwork ready?
I did.
Yes, you did. You were one of the good ones that was there. Now, you say you were watching the cameras from inside.
Yes, sir.
Are you aware of the trespass arrest site?
That's a very hard thing to do because, okay, Belinda. I know who Belinda is. I do not let Belinda in our store. But Belinda is slick. Belinda will come down North Street, come through the parking lot, and down the other side. By the time I call y'all, if she's out of the parking lot, there's nothing you can do anyway. So you want me to call every time there's somebody in our parking lot to say, hey, I got a trespasser? Because by the time you get there, they're not going to be there. That's the hard part, is trying to decipher, should I call or not call? Are they looking like they're moving out, or do they look like they're going to stay? That's my problem. I don't want to be making phone calls that y'all really are unnecessary phone calls for y'all, because I know you guys are busy. So I don't know what to do in that aspect.
Yeah. If I could ask just a few questions.
Certainly.
Okay. You said you're there Monday through Sunday. What hours are you there?
Typically 1 to 9.
So 8 hours.
Yes, sir.
What time does the store open?
The store opened 6 o'clock.
AM?
Mm-hmm. 9 o'clock. I close the store every night, Monday through Sunday.
Closes 9 o'clock every night?
Yes, sir.
Weekends included?
Weekends included.
Your uniform, what you agree is the reason you uniformed security officers to deter activity or crime, right?
Yes, sir.
But you stay inside. You don't go outside?
I do go outside. I'm saying if somebody is going by the parking lot and don't see somebody outside, it's not that nobody's watching the outside or nobody's there. It's just, yes, I do. If I get tired from standing, or if it gets hot, or if it's too cold, I do go inside and wait, or I'll stand by the door. I'm not always outside for the whole show.
Okay, I thought you previously said that you pretty much stay inside and watch the cameras.
I do occasionally, but I do go outside too. I mean, I can't tell you I spend from this time to this time outside, or it all fluctuates depending on what's going on around me too.
Okay, I believe you said your shift starts at 1. Don't have any idea what they do prior to that time. As far as security.
I come in at 1 o'clock.
And you don't know what the person before you did or didn't do. That's
I'm
correct.
not understanding the question.
I mean, there's no way you would know, right? What was being done before you got there?
When I come to work, I ask if there was any issues.
Okay.
If there's an issue, he tries to explain to me what's going on, but there are a lot of trespass. I can't tell you that I don't let somebody in. I don't know everybody that's trespassed. And there's a lot of them that are from years ago and with no picture. And I mean, I can't sit there and ID everybody that comes in the store either.
Okay. Mr. Dan, you showed us some slips. Did you review those slips?
I have, but you have a name. When do you ever hear these people's names? I mean, it's not like they come in and somebody's hollering, Maria Jones. How would I know their name?
Okay, well, let me ask you this a better way.
And half of the slips, you can't even read their whole name.
On a couple of occasions, at least, there were
Okay.
people who were trespassed earlier, like a month or a couple of months before. And so
I
forth.
know of Daniel. I know of Dana. And both of them, yes, they do not come in the store no more. And as a matter of fact, they're not even in the area right now. Okay, Megan's trespassed, and Megan sits by our store every day, Monday through Sunday, unless she's in jail. And I have to go out and say, Megan, your wheelchair's in the parking lot. Please put it to the sidewalk.
You said you don't come out when officers come because of the one incident you had?
I feel like if you feel like I'm obstructing you, I'm gonna stay back and let you do your job so that I'm not put in that situation.
So you don't interact or give them any information that would aid in?
No, I stand by the door and I, wait for them, if they need me for something or wanna look at the cameras or something, I wait for them to ask me.
But if they don't ask you, you don't have any input?
Well, then again, when I'm being told that I could be arrested, why would I want to go have input?
One incident,
I'm
right?
53 years old, never been in jail. I don't want to go now.
Okay, I heard Mr. Sergeant Bauer say that you wanted good ones, but you only got one incident, isn't that correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Is part of your training how to interact with the law enforcement at all? I'm just curious.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't have a problem reacting, doing anything that I'm asked to do, but at the same time, I don't want to be yelled at in front of people that you want these people to listen to you. If you see somebody with authority yelling at you in front of all these people, why are they going to start listening to me?
Anything further? Do you have something? Yeah.
Am I allowed to ask questions? You mentioned that you were instructed not to be in uniform.
I can't hear you.
Sorry, the mask. You mentioned that you were instructed to not be in uniform.
No.
Never say that.
I said
They don't like you.
I don't have a jacket or anything with security, and if I wear like a sweatshirt, then I don't have this showing. So they want this to be showing. So lately it's been cold. So I can't put a sweatshirt or, so that's why I'd be staying in more.
Okay.
I'm in uniform when I go to work, yes.
So you didn't previously mention that they don't like you to be in uniform.
No, I said, once again, I said they want me in uniform. I can't wear like a sweatshirt or something outside that covers the uniform.
Okay.
You can't stay warm.
Right,
Okay.
so that's why I go in.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
I have a question. Who covers the the 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. shift? You don't say, hey, Bill, how was your morning? See you later. I'm taking over now, or?
Right now, there's a gentleman. His name is Jeff, and he's doing great as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. So you do see somebody the morning shift.
Yes, sir.
I'm assuming you guys
We
sort of-
see each other. Yeah, like I usually come in like 15 minutes early, just so we can communicate what the day's been like, whatever. And if I had any issues from the night before, then I'll communicate that to him.
And so it's Jeff now, but when you started in March, was there a regular guy or a lady that was working in the morning?
Yes, there was a gentleman named Kern and a gentleman named Steve, I think. Was it? Peterson.
Scott.
Yeah.
Okay. So generally, since you started working in March of 2024, when you started your shift at 1, typically there was another security guard with your company that would be leaving when you're coming.
Yes, sir. I have my own cleaning business that I do in the morning. So there's been times where I'll get a phone call and be like, is there any way you can come in? So yeah, I'll leave early to go in. Like somebody's got to leave for an emergency or whatever.
All right. Anybody else on the board have questions for this witness?
I do.
Hold on. Let's
I have
make
a
sure.
question, yeah.
I'm sorry? Mr. Jackson has a question. Charles Jackson.
Yes. You do seem to be a very bright spot in what seems to be a messy situation. But a couple times you talked about not wanting to call the police because by the time they got there, the individual would be gone. How is it when you got your job as a security, they asked you to do a couple things? What was those things that they asked you to do as a part of your employment?
As part of my employment is to Like when I first get there, I walk the whole premises just to make sure there's nobody standing, doing any activity, anything like that. And then there's locks on the gates, and I make sure they're locked. If they're not locked, I look inside, make sure nobody's there, lock them back up. I walk the premises of the store when I first initially get there, the bathroom, the coolers, everything, just so I know my surrounding. And then pretty much I have to watch for, anybody loitering in the parking lot.
Okay.
If I see 2 cars pull up and John gets out of this car and goes to this car, I walk out and I'm like, excuse me, gentlemen, this isn't the place or time, you gotta find somewhere else to go. As far as coming in the store, if they're standing somewhere, I'll walk up beside them and be like, we need to hurry it up, we gotta move it on. Just trying to keep people moving, so nobody's steadily standing for more than a couple minutes. Now, there's been occasions, 3 minutes maybe, like I said, if they buy food and a drink and they're on a bicycle, something like that, but I try to stick with the 2 minutes so that everybody's on the same page when they come there. Now they're getting to know me and it's getting easier, per se.
So then you would say that your job is really to detect and deter and deflect what would be illegal or criminal activity on the premises and alert authorities when that occurs. So regardless of their response time or how long you have to wait, your job and your requirement is to make sure that you're not allowing those things to take place as a part of the stipulations that this board made last time. That's the whole reason for you being there. And so if at times you don't do that, there's a precedence that is set that people will know, well, maybe she called, maybe she don't. So do you feel like you're doing what this board requested you to do in your position when you don't call or when you let somebody slide?
If I may, because that's a great point you make. And
I was gonna. I'm sorry. It's a question of the witness.
I think he's asking her a question, not you. Because you let her answer, then you can
because
redirect.
we just used the call log to see, it's like the sword and shield here. We used the call log to say that not too many people calls were being made. Now y'all want us to make a lot of calls and y'all gonna stick us with it. Right. And you understand this argument.
You use the calls again.
We just use the calls to say that there wasn't no calls hardly when they were closed. Now if we call too much, if she's neglectful in her job,
then they run the report. Now we're sticking you. So yeah.
And then,
go ahead.
like for instance, the whole boyfriend-girlfriend situation that happened on North Street.
Right. Okay.
But I used my
But I think
phone.
Mr. Jackson did have a question, so let's get that
I
answer.
think I do the best that I can in what I'm doing. I don't try to be a bully to these people. I try to talk with everybody, let everybody get to know me, so that when they come in the store, they have a good feeling, they're okay. But yet they know that I'm serious about what I say. If you're coming up here and you're standing here, I'm gonna ask you to leave every time. If I have a time and time again, no, then something's got to be done. I don't have these problems there with these people. They know that I'm not going to tolerate it.
I don't believe that answered the question.
I'll tell you, we're got a time issue we got to address here before we all just go on. And first of all, the city was very clear that we had to be out here at 3:00 sharp. I'm serious. I don't know if you guys are involved in that communication or not, but there's a city commission meeting tonight, and they said they had to be in here at 3 to clean their room up.
Most of the time,
And I got a 3:30 appointment in my office because I said it based on the fact that the city said we had to get out of here at 3 sharp, and they were like, what? So what is the deal on? We moved it from 1 to 12 so we could get it in before 3. Now I've got an appointment at 3:30.
Understand. If I can, we could take a brief recess. I'll check with the city clerk to see if there's more time. I think it's the city clerk that authorized.
My problem is
the
I have a
time period.
3:30 new client appointment that I set because it was made very clear to me that we had a hard stop at 3:00. So
Understand.
that's my problem.
Yeah. And we very well, let me just speak with my.
Because my understanding is we still have one more witness too. Mr. Saeed has to
Well,
go.
and the security guard, the alleged reputable, reputable thing, he's here.
Yeah. They have to waive it though.
Mhm.
Yeah. No. I was just saying I've got a problem because I was told there's a super hard stop at 3. And that's why we had to move it from 1 to 3 because the city. And
Understand.
I
And-
committed myself at 3:30. I'm willing to go till 3:21 or 22. You know what I mean? But
Certainly.
I don't know if that's gonna.
That's not gonna wrap
It's,
I know we got another hour or two.
yeah,
Right.
I don't know if it's another hour or two, but it is gonna go well beyond the time, and so we don't have a problem, we understand. We have administrative hearings all the time that we have the circumstance sometimes where we have to continue because it's gone over the time periods that
Where
we're
are we
able to complete.
on jurisdiction with the
I have the ordinance if you want to see it.
No, the time period, the 1 year.
In terms of when we can reschedule, and the attorney for the respondent's not in here, I think if we were going to continue it, we need them to waive jurisdiction. So in case it's
Good luck with
rescheduled
that.
till after February 15th.
Well, we don't have any necessity to reschedule it that long unless, obviously, coordinating a meeting with multiple people as a board, it's a little challenging, but there's no good reason for us to be a month and a half out. We have open spaces.
We have less than a month.
Especially when we're talking-
I think it's a nunc pro tunc
To
order
the
to
12th, I thought
February
it was.
5th.
Okay.
I signed it nunc pro tunc, so I think we have till February 5th, not the 15th. You
Okay.
never know.
Yeah, the 6th of February.
When was it?
Could we,
Went into effect.
could we pick a day now, a day and time now?
I was just looking at the one that says
Oh, no, no, no.
February 15th.
February 15th,
Nunc
yeah,
pro
you
tunc.
said. Pro nunc, February 5th.
Oh. back
Nunc
to-
pro
okay.
tunc means it was effective February 5th
Okay.
when we had the hearing. No, we specifically
Okay.
made it effective the day that we
Retroactive.
had the hearing. So my point is, I'm available to reschedule within that time period, but I think it's the 5th, not the 15th.
Okay, I agree.
I'm not sure where our board secretary just went. I'm thinking she should be running over to the clerk to see if that's gonna be a problem time, but I'm not sure where she went. But that would,
I'm gonna
if we
stick my
wanna
head in
put
the
something.
restroom, though. I'm dying. I need a
Okay.
nature break.
If we could just maybe take 5,
Yeah.
just so we can see if we
Get the
can,
clerk back in here and reschedule. I got my calendar.
and if anyone is, if there's any reason we think we can possibly talk about a time period, I'm willing to, my calendar, I'll be able to fit it, we'll find a way.
This all rests though on the ability to waive jurisdiction.
Electronically to a meeting?
Yeah, we allow that.
Okay.
So-
Yes, okay, I'm sorry.
Sure, we can go back. Let's go back on the record. Okay. All right. As I indicated, when this meeting was scheduled, the city clerk's office said we had a hard stop at 3 o'clock because they got to clean the chambers up for a city commission meeting tonight. So we're clearly not going to finish this hearing within the next 15, 20, or 30 minutes. We probably need at least 2 more hours, it sounds like to me. We've all talked and agreed that we will we'll continue this. So today, we'll reconvene on next Wednesday, January 15th at 1 p.m. Oh, okay.
Well,
So
she said-
I'm booked Thursday. I got mediation all day Thursday.
Yeah, let me just say this. She said the room is available Wednesday and Thursday. She ran over to the clerk to just make sure that there's no other issue that would create a conflict of
I
time.
got you. Okay.
So
Okay.
she's over at the city clerk now. I don't know.
Okay.
why she's not back yet.
Okay. All right. January 15th.
January 15th.
January 6th.
Yeah, January 15th, and we do 1 o'clock? There's no
Fine,
discussion.
1:30.
It seems like that
time?
works unless there's something that causes a can't, but that works for the police department, it works for, my staff and Mr. Dan to let us know, and we'll have to come up with something else if there's a problem. Just for the record, I'm handing this, book to Mr. Dan
I was
once
going to
again.
say, no, I don't know if that remedies your problem, but at least you can at least give it to him. So we'll wait for her quickly. Said I have a 3:30 commitment I can't get out of, and I don't want to be late for.
You can start right here before torso.
All right, I have 3 days. This Friday, the
We're talking,
10th,
okay.
and we can have,
So Wednesday doesn't work next week?
well, this.
I mean, we just all locked into it if that works. It doesn't work?
And when I went to Miss Gadsden, she told me Friday the 10th, the 13th, or the 17th.
Are they having the meeting on Wednesday? I think they moved in. I don't know.
I'm retired, so no big deal for me.
Okay.
I had to come up with a Wednesday or Thursday.
13th or the 10th, which I can't do the 10th.
13th I can do.
Okay, so every one of you just locked in what day? Which one?
We locked in 15th.
You did Wednesday.
1 p.m.
Yeah.
1 p.m.
You can just ask him why that doesn't
Okay.
work.
Wednesday, 1 p.m.
January 15th, yes, 1 p.m.
I hate for you to have to run off.
Nope.
Okay. She's right available, right? Okay. Just down the hall. So. What did we just say? 15 works, right? Any of those other days.
The other day for 13th and 17th.
The others are 13th, 17th, which I could theoretically do the 13th. I got to move some appointments, but there's not like a court appearance.
You should try to retire. Good thing.
I'm working toward it. Easier said than done, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I would say.
I don't, it's just like the reluctance to give up one's income. Yeah.
Without a reduction in expenses.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
If somebody wants to take my expenses, I can give up some income.
I don't want to live a Spartan lifestyle.
Yeah.
An austere lifestyle. It's not that bad. Okay. All right. Okay.
But later.
Just can't go to Starbucks twice a day anymore. No, I can't do that.
Might have to make your own.
Theory.
But you got a lot of time to volunteer.
I know. Carl,
Well, so you
how
got
much
a lot of time
volunteering
to
do you
spend
do in
money,
your
too.
retirement?
No,
You gotta be careful.
KC said there's a lot of time to volunteer, you know?
Yeah.
I'm more selfish, I would think.
We are good. Next
All right.
Wednesday at 1. Okay, we will just have to kick the economic board out.
Let's get back on the record, make sure we're up.
The economic board advising board.
Okay, so getting back.
Okay, good.
All right, so getting back on the record, it is apparent that we're not going to be able to complete the meeting today. It's now 3:18, and we were advised to clear out the city commission chambers by 3 o'clock. So we've agreed to adjourn the hearing for now and reconvene this coming Wednesday. I'll take it back. Next week, Wednesday, January 15th at 1 p.m. To complete the hearing regarding Jay's Food Store. Mr. Daniels, you said you can, you and your client will be available?
Yes, I'll make it.
Super, okay, all right. City, everything, that's okay with you all?
Absolutely, yes, yes,
Okay.
Mr.
And we've
Chair.
got 4 board members that are available, is that correct? Ms. Ruby, Mr. Jackson, Ms. Keith,
Yes.
and Mr. Murphy?
So you're good with what if he needs to
If
appear
Mr. Fields needs to
appear by
appear,
electronically? Remotely?
You'll send me,
A link?
Kimberly, you send me.
yeah,
a
we'll
link
send you a link.
Yeah.
For remote?
Yeah, whatever, we actually have some procedures, that we use for the commission. I don't know if I'll need to go to that level, but it is quasi judicial, so I just will check on that. So I'll give you a follow-up on it just to satisfy.
Great, okay, with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Madam Secretary, we need to do anything else before we adjourn?
Nope, I think that's it.
All right, okay, in that case, we're adjourned.